Today I'm going to review a video in which a man was arrested for being reported to allegedly he expressed a desire to delete himself. But before I get started, I just want to say for those of you who are watching from the Stop the Vegan Mafia channel, I don't think I'm going to keep that channel very long. So if you want to keep up with me, you may want to subscribe to my other channel, which is the Black Anarchist, because I'm going to be doing more content like this. But I think it's a waste of time for me to continue talking about veganism. I mean, my position is that I'm too oppressed to be worrying about some damn animals. I need to be worrying about my own preservation. And that's not to excuse the abuse of animals, but at the same time, I think that human beings are just one step above animals. Like, we're basically in the same boat. So you need to put on your own life preserver before you go save someone else. You need to worry about your own self. Worry about your own species. You are too far down on the totem pole to be worrying about some damn animals. You don't have that luxury. Worry about your own liberty. Worry about the fact that you are enslaved. Worry about the fact that your parents bred you into hell without your consent, and how you can save others from suffering a similar fate. Now, I did a recent live stream where I talked to y'all about how they're basically trying to prosecute people for wanting to die, and they hide it under the health and safety code, and they call it an apprehension, but it's an actual arrest. So, I mean, I showed y'all the statute, so now I'm going to show y'all how it actually turns out in real time, how they actually come to your house, harass you, and throw you in a cage. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. Let's go back. Okay.
2019, the VA called the LAPD to do a wellness check on a veteran they had seen as a patient shortly after the officers arrived. Slade Douglas answered his door.
Hi, Doug? Douglas, Mr. Slade. Yes.
Let me know if y'all can't, hopefully y'all can hear it. Let me know if there's any audio problems.
How you doing? All right. We got a call from, was it the veterans?
I don't know what they called for.
Okay, so this is someone who went to the Veterans Affairs and had counseling, right? They always tell veterans to get counseling, and they tell you that this is going to be kept confidential. It's not confidential. They're going to release your information without your consent to state and local authorities. So I would not advise talking to the VA. Whatever you say can and will be held against you. And so basically, because he went and utilized his services, he served his country. This is something that he earned, a service that was offered to him, and now because of that, now he's being subjected to harassment and police brutality.
Can we come in and talk to you for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the house?
No, that's it.
So, I'm just gonna make sure nobody else is
No,
in here
please
with
don't.
you.
No. Hold on, I asked you no.
All right,
So,
all right, just
I'm
relax.
about to ask you to leave, because this is my house.
Okay.
Number one, you just can't.
See, mistake was letting them in his house in the first place. They don't have a warrant. If he would have said no, I wouldn't have even answered the damn door. I don't answer the door for strangers. If I didn't invite you over, then you're just going to stand outside waiting. People ring my doorbell all the time. I don't answer it. But once he let them in, I mean, it's called access control. You know, when you let somebody in, you have already turned your control over to them, and the police always want to be in control. So even when they're in your house, it's not your house anymore. Now they're going to take control. Now because they have a gun in the bat, so they're not going to respect you in your house. It's your house. They're on your property, but they're still going to act like they're running shit. And they're supposed to be there to help him and see how I want y'all to see how they just, act like they're at home, like, they're running shit in his house that he did not have to let them into, but now they're running the show.
Let me ask you just a couple questions, okay? The veterans people, they were concerned Okay, regarding a couple of things. One was that you were threatening to commit suicide.
That's not true.
Okay, so what I'm here for is just to make sure you're not going to do something.
Okay, it does. And that's based on their interpretation. Like I could say, I wish I wasn't born, and to some people that would mean that I want to commit suicide. No, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I don't know what he said, but I would say that in my case, I wouldn't want to tell people that because they would construe it as me wanting to quote unquote harm myself. If I was never born, I wouldn't be in a position to commit the act in the first place. So it's not the same thing. I don't want to live because I don't want to be oppressed. I don't want to be a wage slave. I don't want to have to deal with this bullshit, but that doesn't mean I'm going to harm myself. So no, once you tell them, they're going to take your words out of context and then you're going to be put in a situation. So I don't know what he said, but clearly that's not what he meant. But I mean, anytime you say anything where you don't have this overwhelming joy about life, that's how they're going to take it. They're going to automatically jump to conclusions, and then this is the result. I'm not sure what state this is. I think they do say it in the video, but I don't recall. It wasn't Texas though.
Like that. You understand? So if you need our help, that's what I'm here for.
I'm okay.
So we're not here to mess with you, bother you, or anything.
Well, you do understand if you just walk in my place and you just automatically start walking around, and I know y'all wear body cams as well. That's so unfortunate too. If you just come in my place like that and you just start walking around, you have to have my permission to do that. So I don't appreciate that. You can't violate my rights because you got to call it help.
Okay. Right.
So you're not helping me if you just come in and you automatically start violating.
Well, sir, it was more for like officer safety.
No, it's not officer safety because I didn't even have to let you in.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. So there's two different standards. They have to have probable cause to make an arrest, but for a Terry, it's called a protective sweep. That when they enter somebody's home, incident to arrest, they are allowed to walk around your house for their safety, right? So they're not allowed to search things, but things that are in plain view. If you have some weed laying out, if you have some child porn or whatever thing that any type of contraband out, then they have probable cause. Even though, so it's not a, there's a difference between a search warrant and an arrest warrant. When you have a search warrant, it's supposed to be specific, but when they make an arrest warrant, they can walk around your house to make a protective sweep for their safety. But this wasn't an arrest. I'm going to tell y'all about the qualified immunity once we get through this, but the law is primarily concerned with their safety. They don't give a shit about your rights. They don't care about your safety. You're supposed to just bow down and let them do whatever, let them trample all over your rights, let them walk. I mean, his mistake was letting them in his house in the first place. I would never let a police officer in my house. Like, what the hell? Like, what? I mean, I guess when it happens, first of all, he didn't know that they were coming, so he probably was caught off guard. The VA reported his ass, and so he just thought, okay, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Let me allow them. I'm going to be cooperative. That's what they always tell you. Stop resisting. This is the consequence of cooperating.
So no, don't say right, because it's about my safety. Because you're in my domain, and if you're here to help me, you can't say, well, my safety is because I have no weapons. Obviously,
we don't know that.
You do know that because I'm asking you to leave. Please leave. I'm asking you to leave.
You don't feel
I know.
See, they didn't have an arrest warrant, so he allowed them in his house. So that's legally considered a license, but you have the legal right to revoke that license. If you invite somebody into your house, they're not acting based on legal authority. They don't have an arrest warrant. They are invitees in his house. So if he revokes that license and they refuse to leave, now they are trespassing on his private property. But that's not how they see it. They think that they are the law. They can do whatever they want. You don't have any rights, even in your own home.
I'm asking you to leave.
You don't feel like
Please leave. I'm asking you to leave my residence.
Well, if you answer this question, then
I'm asking you to leave my residence.
I'm about to put you in handcuffs, sir.
If you do that, that's your choice.
Okay, turn around. Put your hands behind.
Why would you put me in handcuffs? What?
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
What have I done?
You're gonna listen to what I said. You're gonna.
They're in his house and they're trying to boss him around. He has committed no crime. They're not acting based on lawful authority. They are not acting pursuant to a warrant. So they are there at his discretion and on his invitation. So if he says they have to leave, they have to leave. Because they're not acting based on legal authority, they're no different than anybody else, right? If you tell anybody else to leave your house, they have to leave. So they're trespassing. He has every right to call the police.
Put down the phone. You're calling 911, and I'm standing right here.
But what have I done?
Put down the damn phone.
Why are you
Turn
cursing
around
at
and put
me?
your hands
Why
behind
are
your
you
back.
using profanity
Put your
at
hands
me?
behind your back.
Why are you using?
See this? Their main thing is about being in control. They don't give a shit about your rights. They're not there to help you. That's why when I had that car accident, I didn't want their help because I know how they do. And then they ended up giving me a damn citation when I just had a damn car accident, but because I didn't allow you to boss me around and I didn't answer your questions the way now you want to give me. Don't deal with them. Don't trust them. They're not your friends. Even when you call them to help you, they're going to find probable cause to arrest you. I mean, this is the situation. Even when I got robbed, I called the police, and then when I was talking, he came close to me, right? I was already standing where I was, and I talked with my hands. So because of my hand movement, he said that I tried to. No, you are invading my space. That's what they'll do. They'll come right next to you, and then you make a movement that they don't like, and then they say that you tried to assault them. Like, they're so full of shit. Just don't deal with them.
Because you know what? You're calling 911 and we're standing right in front of you.
But I'm asking you to leave my residency.
I'm not leaving your place now. Turn around, put
You
your hands
said you
behind your
came
back.
here to help
I'm not
me.
doing that now. Put your hands behind your back. You're calling 911 right in front of us.
Because
And he asked them, what am I being arrested for? They have to tell you what they're arresting you for. They have to tell you they have probable cause. Now, I'm not sure what this is. Is this an actual arrest or this they can do a Terry stop when they're conducting an investigation, right? You're not actually under arrest, but they can put you in handcuffs for their own safety. While they're conducting an investigation. It's called an arrest and release. That's the same thing when they pull you over for a ticket. That's technically an arrest, but it's an arrest and release. So they can arrest you while they're, or put you in handcuffs. Sorry, that's not an official arrest, but put you in handcuffs while they're conducting their investigation. But this right here is an actual arrest because you want to see they don't actually release him.
ask you to leave my residence.
We can't leave.
You know
Be
this.
determined.
You know this. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, keep in mind, he did not harm anyone. The only reason that he's being arrested, the only reason that they're in the first place is because the VA reported him for wanting to take his own life. It's not his life. That's the whole point that I'm trying to get y'all to understand. He does not have the right to die because that his life does not actually belong to him.
If you were law enforcement, then you would understand.
Okay. And this is why African Americans have issues with law
Don't
enforcement.
start that. Don't start that. That's a bunch of
I asked
nonsense.
you to leave, and you use profanity at someone?
That's okay. I could use that.
Oh, really?
if I
For
want,
someone
yes.
who you concerned about?
Yes.
You can use profanity outside, but you don't get to use it it's my house, it's my rules. You don't get to cuss if I tell you not to cuss. But they don't have any respect for private authority or private property, or like your rights don't even matter at all. Do they forget where they are? You are inside his house. I can't imagine how violated I would feel to have two strangers come in my house and just take over like they're running shit when I did absolutely nothing wrong.
Doing something to themselves.
Hey, you know what? When you're not listening to commands, what did you do?
That wasn't a command.
All right.
A command for me to ask you to leave my residency?
You you
You don't
got
command us to do
I can
that.
ask you to leave if you're not supposed. Why are you here? You were here to help me, and
We are here because somebody wanted us to check.
And I told you I was fine. And then you started exacerbating my condition. Why are you putting your hand up like for me not to speak? You can't help a person if you don't want to listen to what they're saying. If I ask you to leave because you're exacerbating my disability, which clearly you're aware I'm a person.
See, when you call the police on someone, like you're really putting them in harm's way, like seriously, because they can take something the wrong way. I mean, he felt slighted because he asked them to leave, and now all of a sudden they're putting him in handcuffs, right? This guy has a medical condition which is going to be exacerbated by the way that they put the cuffs on him. But even if you resist, so even if they had no probable cause that a crime was being committed in the first place, but that doesn't matter. The fact that you were resisting, that is a crime in and of itself. So they're completely violating your rights. You resist their oppression, and now that's a separate charge.
Person with a disability, because you already observed, number one, you see a sign right here. Just saying that. Number two.
How do I know what that is?
Yeah. What is that?
Oh, well, how do you
How do you know I don't have one?
You could, but guess what? If you had one and you came in my residency and I
So
came,
you're the victim here, right? You're the victim here, right?
Well, you guys are victimized.
What do they mean he's the victim? I mean, even aside from their own oppression, he was the victim from the first place because they were there to help him. He's supposed to be having mental health problems, and he's supposed to be, I don't even want to say the word. Not that I'm monetized. You know what? I don't care about this video isn't going to be monetized. I just don't want it to be removed from the algorithm because I want people, particularly in the anti-natalist community, to see this, that you don't want to tell people, you don't want to express your intentions because this is what's going to happen to you. And they're just going to make your life even worse. And then, yeah, they're going to prevent you from carrying out your own desires. And they're going to, now you're going to be stuck in a hellscape that's even worse than it was before they even showed up.
And now I'm in cuffs.
Well, you're in cuffs now because of the way you're acting.
Why?
Who else is here? Don't.
Because of the way you're acting. So they already knew that, or they were tipped off by some informant that he was the S word. So that should be, that should be a given, that this guy is not in his state of mind, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what type of, he was in his, it's like, okay, I understand when you're outside, they want you to put on a fake smile. They want you to obey. They want you to, behave a certain way. But when you're in your own home, like your home is supposed to be your castle, your home is supposed to be sacrosanct. You don't have to pretend inside your own home. Your own home is the one place that you should be free to be yourself. Why do you have to put on airs for some damn road pirates? Well, in this case, they're not road pirates. They're just oppressors. That's not there's no racial connotation behind that. All of them are oppressors. It doesn't matter, even if they're black. They're all oppressors, right? It's not based on consent. So any authority that isn't based on consent is illegitimate.
Not doing it.
Relax. Relax.
But I asked you not to move.
Relax.
Okay, that's a violation.
Stand right there.
I can move.
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Because you're in our custody right now. You are being detained.
Okay. I'm being
You know what? You could call up whoever you talk to and tell them.
Well, they're just like narcissists. It's like a narcissist who makes your life a living hell. And then when you are miserable or you react to their abuse, never mind the fact that they're the one who caused it. You're just supposed to accept it, right? It's not their fault. This is just the way things are. If you react to their abuse and their tyranny, then there's something wrong with you.
Explain to them
Sir, would you please
why we're here.
step on my rug, please? That's a very expensive rug.
Who says I want to step on your rug?
Why are you acting like
These your
this?
shoes?
See, yes, they are.
Okay, good. You can put them on. You have ID with you?
I do, but I need to get it. I can't get it.
Where's your ID?
Would you please remove your hands off of me?
No, I will not.
I'm not resisting.
No, I will not. No, I will not. And I recommend you don't resist. So put your shoes on.
Why would I resist so y'all can
Go ahead,
put my
put your
ass?
shoes on.
That's what y'all want to do anyhow.
What's your problem?
You?
You know what? We came here because you called for help.
I didn't call you. I didn't call you.
Who did you call?
I did not call you.
Who did you call?
I didn't call you.
Who do you think they're going to call?
I don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't want them to call you all.
Well, they did.
Okay.
Okay.
But people don't know that. They don't know that when you talk to your counselor at the VA or wherever, that they're going to call the police on you. How would anybody know that? The only reason I know that is because I looked up the law. But I'm glad that I never took advantage of that service. I was almost inclined to do it because people kept telling me, oh, you need to go talk to somebody. I'm so glad I never did that bullshit. I probably would have been in the same position as him. And then you lose your job, and then and I don't want to get ahead of myself and show y'all what actually ends up happening, but it's pretty screwed up.
Well,
And now you're in our custody because you're under a mental evaluation.
That's funny. Okay. I'm glad, and the body cams are working too.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Where's your ID?
Do you want your ID?
I can't get it because I'm not going to allow you to go through my things here.
Okay, so you don't own any weapons.
I was planning on doing another live stream right after this one, but if you have questions, I can push that other live stream back until tomorrow. I think this one is more important because there are a lot of people who have these thoughts and they don't know what to do. They don't know. I mean, they're told to go talk to somebody. That's what Unnatural Vegan said. Go seek professional help. What she didn't tell you is that if you go seek professional help, you're going to get arrested. And they don't call it an arrest under the health and safety code. They call it an apprehension. Y'all look at this. Y'all can judge for yourself. Do you think this is an actual arrest, or do you think this is just a mere apprehension?
I already showed you that I had no weapons.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Okay, you don't know anything.
Because I could go looking for anywhere that you might have a weapon if you're going on a 5150 hole.
I shouldn't be on a 5150 hole.
Why don't you?
That's an abuse of authority to put someone on a 5150 hole who has shown no
Are
signs
these
of
your
harming
keys?
themselves.
Are these your keys to your apartment, sir?
They are.
Okay. And I don't believe you are law enforcement the way you're acting.
I can't believe you're a law enforcement either. But you are.
Yeah.
Which we see it all too often in terms of
Who cares what he believes? This is law enforcement. He's not the judge. He's not the jury. I think that their personal opinions are so relevant. It's not relevant. Who gives a shit whether you think? It's like somebody telling me that I was never a veteran. Oh, I don't believe that you're a veteran because a veteran would never behave the way that you behave. A veteran would never be a damn anarchist. There are plenty of veterans who are anarchists, right? And I'm going to be making a separate live stream explaining to y'all why I think the military is the best place for an anarchist. But, just to put it briefly, it's because it's based on consent. I served in the military. I got something out of it. I honored my contract. So there was an incentive for me to obey, right? I didn't feel like I was being abused in the military, but in the civilian world, you get absolutely nothing out of it. You're just supposed to obey like a slave. You get absolutely no consideration for your obedience. It's enslavement. I didn't feel enslaved in the military, but I do feel enslaved out in the civilian world.
Act towards who?
hey, could you let Aaron know that I'm being unlawfully detained?
Don't worry about it.
Could you do that for me? Aaron. The manager here. Could you let him know? Could you let him know? Aaron.
Yeah, you can make
Go tell Donna for me. Will you go tell Donna for me?
That right here, Donna.
John, go tell Aaron that I'm.
Can y'all imagine how embarrassing this is? That all your neighbors know your personal business now, right? They don't know what you're a criminal. Are you selling drugs? Like what? I guess you may be inclined to tell them the truth, right? But now your neighbors know that you're the S word. You know how embarrassing that is? You know how many people are going to be coming, randomly showing up, ringing his doorbell to check on him if his employer finds out? They just completely disrupted his entire life.
Being unlawfully detained. Aaron. Yes, for no reason. For no reason whatsoever.
You called us, sir.
I did not call you.
called us.
Oh, I called you. So
Yeah.
why are you using the arm bar on me? I'm turning around. What are you? Oh,
Let me tell y'all something. So it was a while back. I got arrested for a citation that was actually dismissed, but I guess the court administrator didn't she didn't process it or whatever, and so it went to a warrant. And I lived in a townhouse then, it was gated, and my neighbor let them in. They said they had a warrant, but they didn't have a warrant, and he just let this dumbass. If he didn't let them in, they never would have been able to get in. But people are so damn compliant, so they forced their way in, compounding on my door because this dumbass let them in. And then come to find out, they never had a damn warrant. They got the police. It was a deputy sheriff, it wasn't police. He was trying to shove his way into my house. I'm like, well, do you have an arrest warrant or a search warrant? He said he had an arrest warrant, but he didn't have either because the case was dismissed. So when I didn't let him in my house, he like shoved me against the damn wall. And they, this, if I would have resisted, then they would have had grounds to beat the shit out of me. Come to find out, they never had a damn arrest. They never even checked. And they didn't apologize or anything. Just humiliated me in front of everybody. My damn neighbor was mortified because, why did you let them in? I mean, you didn't even ask any questions. People are so damn compliant with this illegitimate authority. It's just tyranny all the way around. And the public, the citizens, quote unquote citizens, are in on it. They're more tyrannical than the damn. This is the reason why the police do what they do, because they're doing it with the consent of the majority. They like this shit. If you go and watch the original video, and most of these videos, they're on the side of the pigs.
I gotta face this way now. Why is that?
You're acting.
What you mean? How am I acting? I hope this is gonna be worth it to you. I hope it's gonna be worth it. Yeah, it is for me to say I'm a citizen. You're supposed to cancer. Unfortunately, black people, you all never do.
I
This is not
disagree with that. Don't pull me.
What you mean don't pull you? I'm walking. I'm walking. What you mean don't pull you?
You think I'm just here for the fun of it?
Yeah, apparently you decided to escalate the matter. So yes.
Do you think I'm here for the fun of it?
I do. Yes, I do. You escalated the matter. You escalated the matter.
You will be sitting down in this car, okay?
Why wouldn't I not sit down in the
Good,
car?
thank you, sir.
Slade has now been arrested, but it's unclear exactly what for. Calling a mental health hotline is not unlawful, and Slade denies that he claimed he said anything to the extent of harming himself.
It's not an arrest according to the health and safety code. It's called an apprehension. But when you look at it, what's the difference between an apprehension and an actual arrest? They put him in handcuffs, they force him into their vehicle, and then the result is even worse than an actual arrest. But again, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
The officers lack enough information to initiate a 5150 hold, and appear to only have arrested Slade for asking them to leave and dialing 911 in the presence of law enforcement.
The worst thing you can do.
Well, basically anybody who dissents from the majority is going to be considered crazy. I don't know if y'all kept up to what happened with Lauryn Hill, but Lauryn Hill was exposing the entire music industry. They said she was crazy. They forced her to seek psychiatric treatment. I don't know if they drugged her or what, but the her music company basically forced her to make another album, even though she didn't want to. And they used tax evasion to come after her. So tax evasion, when they call somebody crazy, all of those things are red flags that something is going awry. That, I mean, if someone says that someone's crazy, I don't believe it. If they say that it's tax evasion, that's the easiest way to get somebody arrested. Tax evasion is saying that they're crazy.
do is make a 911 call right in front of us.
I can do what I want to if you're violating my rights. Don't tell me. Oh, so that's retaliation then. I can call wherever I want to. I have not violated any laws. If I want to call 911,
is there an extension on
I can call 911. Y'all don't always act in accordance to the law either. Plenty of y'all get arrested and in prisons. Your badge don't make you above the law. Your badge does not cause me not to have rights. I violate that right to use a badge to do it. And then because I called 911, you put me under a cover. I can call 911.
It does, though, because they never have to suffer any consequences. They're protected with qualified immunity, which usually translates into absolute immunity. I mean, there's exceptions to, that's why it's called qualified. But once we're done, I'm going to give a quick overview of what qualified immunity entails.
Not when I'm there, sir.
Yeah, what you mean not when you're there?
It's.
If I ask you to leave...
Well, you're not going to let me answer? Then I'm not going to answer.
Okay, but you'll have a lot of answers.
Actually, what you did was against the law.
It's not against the law.
What is against the law? And who cares if he answers? He's acting like he's doing him a favor. You yanked this man out of his house. He wasn't bothering anybody. And now you think that, I was going to help you out by answering your question. You could have helped me out by leaving me the fuck alone.
What you did was against my rights, so it was against the law as well. Your badge does not allow you to deny a person their constitutional rights. When I asked you to leave, you should leave. You asked me, I told you that I was in no danger to myself or others. You did not, and you noticed that based upon your observation. So when I asked you to leave after you guys started evaluating my disability, you should have left. You don't detain me because I'm asking you to leave my residence.
The officers attempted to call a supervisor, but are first unable to get a hold of anyone, and after 10 minutes in cuffs, the veteran's physical disabilities became inflamed, so we asked to have the cuffs adjusted.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will not put him in the front.
You need to move him because this exacerbates.
I will fix him, though. I will fix him.
Could you do it really soon?
Yes.
I'm asking for a reasonable accommodation.
I told you that's what I'm going to do, so be quiet.
It soon because my disability is being exacerbated. And then you go raising your voice again at somebody. Why are you raising your voice?
You won't let me get a word in edgewise.
Okay, y'all. Keep in mind that according to them, he wasn't actually under arrest. They said they put him in handcuffs for their safety, right? It's a Terry stop. While they're conducting their investigation, they're allowed to put him in handcuffs. So if he did not pose any danger to them, a safety risk, why are they not giving him reasonable accommodations? What he's saying is that by putting the handcuffs behind his back, it's exacerbating his pre-existing conditions. So he's requesting that the handcuffs be put in front of him. If he's not a danger to anybody, because there's not what he's being apprehended for, why are they not accommodating his requests?
Get up. Get out.
You can speak to me in a different tone as well. You don't need to scream. And don't say that I am because you claim you're supposed to be helping me. It's the right.
These cuffs are just
It's the
fine.
right. And it's not that it's loose, it's a positioning on my arm.
What are you talking about?
I have okay, you're aware that I'm a disabled veteran,
Are
right?
you sure? Yeah, well, that's what
I
you're
have
saying.
cervical
You see, there's plenty of room there.
No, it's not about the room, it's a positioning on my arm.
Well, how do you want your arms?
I need this cuff to be removed so from the front.
You know what? The cuffs wouldn't be on you if you weren't acting the way you are.
Whatever. Acting by exercising my constitutional
Okay, have a
rights.
seat.
I
I just checked your cuffs. Get in.
It's not the cuffs, it's the positioning of my arms. I requested the accommodation.
That's how the LAPD does our
you can
handcuffs.
also
Have a
make
seat.
so that's the purpose of asking for a reasonable accommodation.
And that was the reasonable
No, the
accommodation.
reasonable accommodation is to reposition my arm because it's exacerbating my
Reposition
condition.
it how?
I need it in the front because it's exacerbating.
That's not how we do. That's not how we do our handcuffs.
Well, the thing about asking for a reason.
See, and this guy has poor training. You're entitled to reasonable accommodations, especially in this situation where this person was not, there's no reasonable suspicion that he committed any crime. They're there for a health and welfare check. So he shouldn't be even be in handcuffs in the first place.
Reasonable accommodation is a policy exception.
No, we don't have a policy exception.
Yes, you
for
do.
that.
Everyone complies by
You can
ADA.
have a separate. No, police do not. Police do not.
Disability, which clearly you're aware of, and I requested assistance.
I just explained to you what we did.
You haven't done anything. It has nothing to do with because it's the positioning of my arm.
The officers finally get a hold of someone and request a supervisor to arrive on scene.
You know what? Call a supervisor.
Mr. Slade, what's your birthday?
Call a supervisor. I'm requesting a superior officer.
We're going to take you to see one.
You need to leave now then. I'm in pain. I'm requesting to see a superior officer.
All right, we're going to take you right now.
This is Wheeler from Central Division. How are you? Good. I'm out here in the field, and we have a we got a radio call, the second-hand caller from the Veterans Crisis Hotline. And anyways, we're out to his place. According to the comments, he was considering committing.
That's not
We're
true.
here at scene. Have him in custody, but
See, and I don't know who. I mean, I don't know why they blurted out the S word. Why are we not allowed to say that? Why are we not allowed to say the S word? I mean, I'm not saying it just because I don't know if it's going to mess with the algorithm. But you can say life, right? You can breed people into hell. Why can't that be a dirty word? Why can't being pro-life be a dirty word? Why shouldn't that be blurted out? Right? That's the injury. That's the thing. That is the moving force behind all of suffering, is the imposition of life. Why can't that's the word that should be blurted out? That's the word that should have some type of stigma to it, that when you impose life on someone, you're a breeder, right? But you can't even say the S word.
we cannot get a hold of the actual PR who was calling from the Veterans Crisis. He said he did call them, but he did not threaten to commit suicide.
1X45. 1X45. Can I get a supervisor? For a location.
City Central Supervisor Meet 1X45 255 South Front.
Yeah, I actually tried to call them and wasn't able to reach her. I mean, that's probably a huge, huge bureaucracy.
While waiting, the officers laugh off the possibility of a lawsuit.
As soon as I'm out of here, everything, it's going to be on everything state. Local.
That's fine, sir.
Yeah, you think I'm lying. And I'm suing you. Why?
Okay.
You can laugh. I'm glad you find it funny.
No, sir, we got your date of birth.
I don't care what you got.
Eventually, Slade would ask for medical assistance for the pain in his neck.
Maybe we can do that, because...
Are you going to help me with the handcuffs?
No, look. I'm going to ask you something, okay? Well, I want to talk to you for a second.
My arm is exacerbated.
Douglas.
Remember how Unnatural Vegan said that those of us who don't want to live, we should seek professional help? This is the professional help that you're going to get.
Douglas.
I don't want to talk to you.
Because that's what we
I don't want you to be in handcuffs
I need
any longer
medical
than
attention.
you have to be.
I need medical attention. I need medical. Could you take me to get medical attention?
Yes, you will get medical attention.
I need it immediately.
Okay.
I've asked for a reasonable accommodation for the last 15 minutes.
Douglas, you requested a supervisor. I called one.
No, but now he's taking them to. I need medical. I requested an accommodation as well.
Okay.
On the ADA and the California
Okay.
Disability Person.
Okay.
You guys are refusing to do that.
Douglas,
Why you put your hand up like
if
that?
you don't need medical assistance,
I said I need medical attention. I don't know why you would say something different than what I just said. I need medical attention.
you take any medication.
He's trying to shush him because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So if his pre-existing condition was exacerbated by his excessive force, then that's going to make him look bad. So he's trying to just make him be quiet, and hopefully everything will just smooth over. But it's like, no, we have to suffer consequences for whatever we do. They don't give us any slack, but why should you feel sorry for this scumbag pig?
I'm not answering that question. I need medical attention immediately.
Okay, what's your birthday?
I'm not answering that question either.
They're gonna need this information.
I'm already detained. What you mean they're gonna need it? You already already got me in cuffs now. Shit, they gonna find it out anyway. I'm not answering any of your questions.
You don't want to answer any questions.
And they're treating him like a criminal. Remember, this was a health and welfare check. He's not technically under arrest, but they're still treating him in the same manner they would treat a criminal.
I don't have to. You haven't even told me about it.
They call him an ambulance, and then he could go with them if he wants.
Douglas. So you would like me to call you an ambulance?
I need medical attention.
You would like me to call you an ambulance?
That you guys use. I need medical
Okay, can you tell me the...
Yeah, we'll call you an ambulance.
I said it many times.
We'll call you an ambulance. Is that what you want?
Okay.
Once I requested a reasonable accommodation, it was 15
Well, no,
minutes ago.
you got to say what you need.
No, I requested a reasonable accommodation. You didn't grant it. As a result of that, it is exacerbated. I need medical
I
attention.
do not put your hands up in front. That's not going to happen.
Excuse me?
Your hands are not going to be placed in front of you.
Okay.
That's not how we do things.
Well, the whole purpose of a reasonable accommodation is to
We
make a
don't do it
policy
like that.
exception.
No.
You're not even a superior officer. You don't.
I don't think that it's necessarily racism. I think, okay, the difference is that black people are probably more likely to resist authority. I think it's a cultural difference that I think, you know, the dominant culture sees the police officer as their friends. They just comply. So they're probably going to get different treatment. There could be a racial component to it, but I don't think that is the case in this situation. I just think the fact that he told them to get out of his house, they didn't like that. And so they wanted to assert their authority to let them know that they're the ones in control. So this is how it happens. Anytime you bring them into the situation, they want to be in control. You don't even get, just like when I had that car accident, right? I didn't want their medical treatment. I didn't want any help. They towed my car or had it impounded to the city lot. I didn't need my car impounded. I was going to have it towed to a salvage yard where I could have got some money. But they want to do things their way. They want you to just sit down and shut up and let them run things because you're stupid. You don't even know whether you're the S word or not. They're going to be the judge, jury, and executioners. He told them that he wasn't the S word, and they didn't believe him. So, and they just refused to leave his house. So, this whole situation escalated because of them. I understand that they have a job to do. Somebody reported that, but once he tells you to leave his house, there's nothing else you can do.
Douglas,
We don't
What do
you need
ambulance for attention?
for...
My exacerbation of disability, cervical radiculopathy, C5 and C6,
Okay.
due to the handcuffs
Okay.
and the abusive touching that you did as well on the elevator.
Okay. You're here because you're requesting all these.
Somebody asked if this was in Texas. I'm not sure. That area does look familiar, but I know a lot of these urban neighborhoods are designed similarly. So I can't say. I didn't see the police car. It may be Texas, but I'm not sure.
These services.
You're not giving it. That's the problem. Why am I still
I'm calling you an ambulance.
Why was I handcuffed in the first place? Because I called 911.
1X45. Can I get an RA 255 for male, approximately 30?
You're in custody because you're under a mental evaluation.
Complaining of pain to
From
his neck.
us.
You don't have authority to put someone.
When the VA calls us, yes, we do.
You said because I called
Yes, we do.
911. You said because I called 911.
No, it's not that.
No, they don't. They have to have probable cause and has to be from a credible person. If they're releasing his psychiatric records or his information that he said in confidence, that doesn't establish probable cause. And it didn't sound like they did any investigation to find out what he actually said. Did he actually say the S word? Or did he just say something like he was depressed or he didn't want to be? That's not the same thing. People jump to conclusions. They don't know what they're talking about.
You don't get to do that. That is against the law. You don't get to do that.
It's on video.
You don't get to do that.
No, you doing it.
Who are you going to call? The police on the police?
Yes.
No, that's not going to happen.
Investigate the police. What do you mean the police on the police?
Not going to happen,
The
sir.
police. Who handles the investigation of the complaint?
You're more than happy to speak to a supervisor about what we did here today.
Nah, it's got to be more than supervisor.
You're more than happy to speak to a supervisor. That's fine.
It's got to be more than supervisor.
That's fine.
I hope it is fine.
It's not a problem,
You
sir.
got all these tattoos on my head.
I don't know.
No, please don't. No. Hold on, I asked
I just
you. No, please don't. No. Hold on, I asked you no.
I just skipped. I don't know where I was. No, knowing the law is first of all, the police don't care about that. In that situation, it's about brute force. They have a gun, and so they're in charge. So even if you're an attorney, they're not going to listen to you. The place to argue the law would be in court, but the problem is that even when you go to court, the judge doesn't follow the law. So, and again, they're protected with qualified immunity. So even if they violated the law, and I'm going to explain to y'all what qualified immunity means, but they basically get away with murder. And now I just skipped ahead. I'm not sure exactly where I was.
You argue with
You already have.
Listen. So, got a call from the VA. Apparently, this guy threatened to commit suicide over the phone. Then I hung up the phone, so it generated a call with the VA. Called us. Get out here. We get up to the apartment. He's in there. He opens the door for us. He actually lets us in. After a few minutes, start just checking, make sure nobody else is in there. We handcuff him because he immediately gets irate. Starts calling 911 on his phone because now he's asking us to leave. But it's like at that point, I'm already there, so put him in handcuffs. I'm not able to get a hold of the lady from the VA. Whoever called it in, I have to try to find her extension somehow. But he's just been completely irate the whole time.
See, everything he's saying is about how he reacted to their apprehension, right? Again, I'm calling it an apprehension because that's what it's called in the health and safety code, but this is an actual arrest. He didn't get the information from the woman the informant in the first place, right? He was supposed to get that information before he even came to the scene. He doesn't know if this person was actually the S word. It sounds like he just got a little tip from this woman. He doesn't even know her name. He doesn't know shit. And so now he's trying to backtrack and say, oh, well, he let us in. So once I was already there, we decided to put him in handcuffs because of how he behaved. Yeah, I would be irate too if you were in my house. If you were trespassing in my house, I told you to get the fuck out and you're still here.
He's in handcuffs. He wants his handcuffs in the front. I told him he cannot do that. I made sure his handcuffs were loose enough. They weren't restricting any type of issue with his hands or anything like that. But like I said, he's completely 415. He wants a supervisor. Called him an RA. Said he's got pre-existing injuries from the military. Won't answer any of our questions. Won't work with us in the slightest. But that's where we're at.
He doesn't have to answer your questions. He has a right to remain silent. That's what they always tell you, right? Anything you say can and will be used against you. He starts talking. They didn't have probable cause in the first place, but if you start talking afterwards, now they do have probable cause because you were sitting there running your mouth. So they want you to talk because they're trying to screw you over. The more you talk, the more you screw yourself over. So yeah, that was, I mean, the unfortunate thing is that it's not technically an arrest, even though it isn't. I mean, y'all can see for yourself, this is an arrest, but it's not a custodial interrogation, so they don't have to read his Miranda rights because he's not under threat of criminal prosecution. But the psychiatric confinement is basically the same thing. You're still being I don't know if y'all remember, for those of you who were here, what it says in the Health and Safety Code is that you can be restricted of your liberty. So a psychiatric confinement is the same as jail. And it also says in that Health and Safety Code that they can put you in actual jail. They just have to put you in isolation.
Well, to us, at this point, he won't answer any of our questions to do anything. But and then after we got him in handcuffs and anything, I started making the phone calls. MEU says, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll have a team at the station for you to meet us there." But as far as me verifying what he said with the VA, I can't, can't do that.
So if you didn't verify it, then you don't have probable cause, and it's not probable cause that a crime has been committed. It's probable cause that he was going to delete himself. You don't have probable cause, so therefore you had no grounds to arrest him in the first place. He's basically admitting this right here on the body cam footage.
Exactly. Yeah. You get checked up by the RA. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, he's going to meet us there at the station. Okay. All right.
So what display?
You didn't let us finish our investigation.
What you mean? That's no reason to put someone.
Yes, it is.
Why? Because
So he was supposed to dig him. He was supposed to help them to dig a hole for them. He's supposed to tell them all of his private thoughts. By the way, under the First Amendment, the right to freedom of speech includes the freedom not to speak. So you have it's called freedom of thought. Freedom of speech includes a right to privacy. So you don't have to tell people your private thoughts. I mean, what the hell is this shit? Some 1984 bullshit where they just want to know what you're thinking. You don't have to tell them that. He's not interfering with an investigation because there was no crime committed. He was not a threat to anyone else. It's supposed to be his life.
you was violating my rights.
We're not violating any rights.
How can you say that?
We did not conduct our investigation
What was your investigation?
to see if you needed
And
to
I
be in
indicated
place.
that I was good.
Okay. You didn't let us finish our investigation.
Whatever.
Okay. Okay.
Take him to get help instead. The whole point is that he didn't need help. He called them just to talk, and then they reported him. This conversation was supposed to be confidential, but now that he gave them some little bit of information, they overreacted, called the police on him, and now he's being arrested. So, taking him to get that's what ends up happening. That's what we're almost there, but that's what ends up happening, and the result of that is not any better than what he's going through right now. The so-called help that he got from the psychiatric help was even worse than the police help.
Okay. All right. Okay. If that's how you like to see it. All right, Douglas. This is our supervisor.
Slade explains that he was put in custody for calling 911 and the extent of his disabilities to the supervisor, during which an ambulance arrives.
How you doing, sir? This guy's been very difficult with us. He's in custody for 5150 evaluation. The thing is, he has prior injuries to his back. I guess C-spine issue or something from previous injury in the military or something like that.
Okay.
And he requested an ambulance. So here we are. But it's, I know there's nothing you can really.
So he's ambulatory on scene, walking, talking,
Oh, yeah.
awake and alert.
Yeah.
And we're going to the hospital because.
You know what? If he says he doesn't want to go, does he still have to go?
Oh, I'm asking.
in custody?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna. So we're here because he says he doesn't want to go by squad car. He wants to go by ambulance.
No. Why you're here is I was going to take him to the station to get eval'd by our mental evaluation people, but he has been so difficult with us.
And this is all being done by force. So they take you to get evaluated and you don't want to talk, they're not going to release you. So now you're under confinement. And the only way to get out is to tell them what they want you to say, that life is wonderful, everything is fine. This is tyranny. I mean, this is so fucked up.
And now he's claiming he's got previous back injuries and wants us to reposition his handcuffs, and we can't do that. Okay. So that's where we're at.
Right.
We're here for a mental evaluation.
Okay.
And so when we have him in handcuffs, he doesn't obviously like being in handcuffs. So now he's complaining we need to move his handcuffs to the front. We can't do that. So he's saying it's irritating his previous injuries from the military.
Did you have any medical complaint before you guys got down here?
No. So if they don't transport them, yeah, we'll just take him to the station. I mean, there's nothing medically.
I think. All right. So.
If there's nothing medically.
So here's the deal. How much time do you have on?
20.
I have 34. So the smartest thing's going to be put him on a gurney, handcuff him to the rails, take him to the hospital, tell the doctor that he's complained that he's got previous back injuries and he fell in comfortable position. He realized you need to clear him. That way, it takes all the liability off you guys, takes it off the city. I think it'll be.
I mean, y'all hear this shit? Their main concern is liability. I think it's too late for that. They know that they're about to get sued, so now they're trying to mitigate the damages. It's too late for that shit. It only gets worse from here.
I think that'll be the best thing to do.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
We got.
So we're on the same
what
page.
information does he have?
So all I need is.
And here's the thing. The fact that this is a supervisor who's telling him what to do. Now this becomes not just the officers acting on their own accord. Now this becomes the city. Now, because the supervisor is, what's the word? He's basically reinforcing their behavior. This isn't them acting on their own accord. Now the entire city is vicariously liable.
His name, birthday, address he's got for his homeless. But we'll basically do that. So,
okay.
Slade is then handcuffed to a gurney and taken to the hospital.
Actually, here, stand up here for a second.
Did you stop putting your hands on me?
I know I have to.
I'm gonna get up myself though.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just gonna make sure.
I'm asking you to remove your hand.
No, I'm not. Stand up, please.
See, I just.
So they can put your hand, their hand. He's not under arrest. Remember, y'all. He's not under arrest. So if anybody else were to put their hands on you, that would be considered an assault. But a police officer can do it, and is legal. So according to the way these slaves think, whatever the government does is lawful, even though it violates your constitutional rights. You're supposed to just obey. The government is always right. I mean, just read the comment section on some of these videos. They always are going to defend law enforcement. They like being slaves.
They don't want to leave. I call 911. They detain me. They saying I'm on a 5150 home. They saying I'm on a 5150 home. So if I'm on a 5150 home, then for calling 911.
Don't be telling everybody that.
I can tell people what the hell I want.
You're going for an evaluation.
See how they're trying to put a prior restraint on his exercise of freedom of speech? They're telling him what he can and can't say because they're scared that he's going to get sued.
That way,
Yeah.
He wants medical help. He gets medical help.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, and then they can just tell. Exactly.
According to medical records, Slade was forcibly injected multiple times while double cuffed to the gurney. While incapacitated, he was placed in leather restraints and put on a catheter. After his release, he would sue, asking for $10 million in damages. But the officers, of course, would ask to be granted qualified immunity and for the case to be dismissed. But the judge rejected the dismissal, ruling that Officers Wheeler and Yabana are not entitled to qualified immunity for the unconstitutional detention, excessive force, retaliation, violation of due process, violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, violation of the Bain Act, battery, false arrest, imprisonment, and negligence. The judge further stated that the city is vicariously liable for the officers' actions. And now, The officers are set to face trial early next year over the false arrest, sexual abuse, and forced hospitalization, but there is no word whether or not they are to face criminal charges or if the LAPD plans to discipline the officers.
Okay, so that was the LAPD. So now we know what jurisdiction that was. Okay, so now, and I know we would just go to the case law or go to the statute directly, but in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and show y'all what qualified immunity is. So incidents involving the use of force by law enforcement, such as the 2020 death of George Floyd and the 2023 death of Tyree Nichols, have raised questions regarding how existing laws regulate the conduct of police officers. I'm not going to read all of that, but basically, when you file a lawsuit, you have to do it under 42 USC 1983, because you can't sue the entity, you can't sue the state directly. The state is protected with absolute immunity, so you can only sue state actors. You can sue the governor, you can sue the police officers. You can also sue municipalities because the municipalities are not part of the state budget. So you can sue a city. You can sue the city of Los Angeles. You can't sue the state of California, though. And so 42 USC 1983 allows you to sue the state actors directly. You can sue them either in their individual capacity or in their official capacity. In their official capacity, they're still protected with immunity for damages, right? But you can get injunctive relief, so that, because when you sue them in their official capacity, you're suing their office, not them as a person. So even if they quit or somebody else replaces them, you're still suing that office. So you sue officer so-and-so. If you get an injunction, that applies to the entire police department. And then if you sue them in their individual capacity, even though you're going to get the damages from that individual state actor, the damages are probably going to be indemnified by the government, by the city or the state. So that 42 USC 1983, that's for suing a state. But there's also a Bivens doctrine, which is equivalent to that, except you're suing a federal actor instead of a state actor. Because under 42 USC, there has to be state action, and then the Bivens asset. And anyway, I don't need to explain all that. I've done both. Let's just get to qualified immunity. Qualified immunity is a judicially created legal doctrine that protects government officials performing discretionary duties from civil liability in cases involving the deprivation of statutory or constitutional rights. Now, keep in mind that qualified immunity is not created by statute. This isn't a law. This is something that the courts made up. This is something that they pulled out of their asses. So, I don't see why it has any legal force. The courts are not supposed to be creating a law, but they do. This is some judicial doctrine to show them, and they say that it's supposed to be for our benefit, because it allows the state to do their job without being, just like how they're trying to go after Trump, and Trump is trying to claim immunity, because it's going to prevent them from effectively carrying out their duties, because they're going to be worried about being held liable. You should be worried about being held liable. You should be worried. You should be afraid that if you don't follow the law, there's going to be consequences. But they just remove all the consequences. So government officials are entitled to qualified immunity so long as their actions do not violate clearly established statutory or constitutional rights of which a reasonable person would have known. The Supreme Court has observed that qualified immunity balances two important interests: the need to hold public officials accountable when they exercise their power irresponsibly, and the need to shield officials from harassment, distraction, and liability when they perform their duties reasonably. The immunity's broad protection is intended for all but the plainly incompetent or those who knowingly violate the law, and to give government officials breathing room to make responsible mistakes of fact and law. Okay, they're given breathing room and to make reasonable mistakes of fact and law. Okay, so they mistakenly think that you were going to pull a gun out. They can make that mistake. There was a guy, and I think I may review it. There was a police officer who was investigating a domestic dispute, and an acorn fell, and then he just completely overreacted, saying that he was shot, and then the other his uh, partner started shooting, and then they both were shooting each other. Like, I mean, you don't know the difference between an acorn and an actual gunshot, that and you're so damn scary. Yeah, and that would be protected by qualified immunity because it was a good faith mistake, even though he's clearly incompetent. According to the Supreme Court, the driving force behind qualified immunity was to ensure that insubstantial claims against government officials were resolved at the outset of the lawsuit. Qualified immunity applies when applied, provides immunity not only from civil damages, but from having to defend against litigation altogether. So this is what they do. Like, even before you get discovery and all that stuff, they immediately file a motion to dismiss based on qualified immunity, and the case goes no further. So, you don't even get to find out whether they acted in good faith because you don't get to depose them. No interrogatories, nothing. It's immunity not only from damages but from the suit itself. So you don't get discovery. This is tyranny. This is so. I don't know if let me go read the comments. I don't know if y'all want me to continue going. Shell. They'll give anyone a gun and a badge. Yeah. Not to get off subject, but the USA brought Britain back. Yeah, I talked to, well, I didn't say it, but somebody was mentioning that in this live stream that I just did last week. She was talking about that and how we don't have money, we have currency. But anyway, somebody said that they had a question for me. I don't know if that person is still here. So I'm going to I'm going to send the link for you to come up. I was going to do another live stream right after this one, but this one went a little bit longer than I planned. So if somebody has a question or something they want to add to the discussion, just click the link. All right, let me go a little bit more. The Supreme Court has set forth a two-part analysis when determining whether an official is entitled to qualified immunity. We actually have someone. Let me finish this and I'll invite you up. Whether the facts alleged by the plaintiff amount to a constitutional violation, and if so, whether the constitutional right was clearly established at the time of the misconduct. Some circuits also include a third prong, which asks whether the conduct was objectively reasonable in light of clearly established law, but the Supreme Court has not expanded its two-part analysis to date. Let me go ahead and invite this person up. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
That's good. We've talked before. I think I talked to you last year about some sort of the same thing. I wanted to ask you just a couple things because I heard you from the beginning. You were like, oh, people like the cops, they take things, or the VA, they take things out of context. It's not always literal. It may be hyperbole. So my question for you is like, where's the line between hyperbole and then people who truly do need help? People who are saying, I'm going to do this to myself or someone else, because I thought that like the VA or any professional licensed professional, they're obligated by law to report if they are going to hurt themselves or someone else. So aren't they just following the rules?
Well, I'm an anarchist, so I don't believe in a law. I believe in natural rights. And that's the whole point. I think that the law is oppressive. They may have a duty to report, but I'm telling people, people don't know that. And so if you don't, okay, I understand that they have a duty to report, but my whole thing is self-preservation. So I don't want to be arrested. If I
Mhm.
don't consent to it, I'm not asking for help. You come up, show up at my door asking me if I need help, and I say no, then at that point, the discussion should be over.
Over. Okay.
You don't get to tell me that I need help anyway and arrest me and jack me full of drugs against my will, which is what happened in this situation.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree that, the police, of course, are, a lot of times are corrupt, and a lot of the bad apples spoil the bunch. I completely agree with that. And we need to completely revamp. But sometimes, like, when I do listen to you, you sometimes speak in very all or nothing and not more nuanced, because, like, whether we like it or not, like, the police are always going to be here. That's just the way it is currently. We will never live in a world without police. So it's kind of like, what do we do? Like, what do we want in this lifetime now to happen? Because we're never, not in my lifetime. I'm 26. In my lifetime, there will never be a society without police, without law, without judges. So, like, what are we supposed to do now,
Two
currently?
things. First of all, you shouldn't impose life on someone so they be subjected to this tyranny. And
Mhm.
then if you are going to subject them to this tyranny, then you should at least do something to hold police officers accountable. They
Right.
don't serve us, we serve them. We're here to obey like slaves. And yeah, I don't it, the problem is that you don't have the option of opting out. So if you didn't, I mean,
Right.
we didn't choose this. We didn't choose to be born. We didn't consent to their authority,
Hmm.
and there is no way out because now they're just going to arrest you and pump you full of drugs. So how are you supposed to escape this tyranny?
Right. And I know the whole, like, we talked about the right to live before, and you feel like you should have the right to decide if you want to live or not. And in this society, most of the time we don't have that right. We're told you should want to live, you have to live. Um but there are some people say, like, the term, they're the saying, sometimes you got to take them kicking and screaming, because some people don't know that they need help. So, like, what do you say to that? Like, do you think we should just, if someone says, no, I don't need help, okay, bye, all the time, no matter what? Is there a line? Is there a boundary?
No,
Uh,
if they say they don't want help, then that should be the end of the discussion. If they actually want help, that is a different story. Some people are just asking for attention. They just, it's a temporary thing. They're
mhm,
not. I mean, I think that this is my opinion. I
mhm.
think that anybody who doesn't, I don't know how much I can say on YouTube without getting in trouble. I'm not I'm not trying to encourage anybody to do anything. I'm talking about public policy. This is what I
Right.
think the law should be, that anybody who wants to die, they should have to
Sign.
seek a psychiatric evaluation to make sure that
Mhm.
they're not crazy and that this isn't some temporary phase.
Right.
And then once that evaluation has been made, then
Mhm.
they should have the right to
Put themselves out of,
yes,
yeah.
with
Okay.
and nobody should have the right to interfere. No government should have to be able to force you to
Right.
live against your will. Like this is terrible. If you don't own your own life, then there's nothing more tyrannical than that.
That is, and I agree, because I mean, we always talking about consent and the right to consent, and you should be able to do, this is America. You should be able to do what you want with your body. But the moment that you want to, you know, not be here anymore, all of a sudden it's, well, I think because, like, there's the assumption that everybody wants to be here, everybody wants to live, and maybe that's just not necessarily true.
Well, the assumption is based on the fact that those of us who don't want to be here are silenced. So if I say the truth,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's going to I'm going to be ostracized. I'm going
Right.
to suffer financial repercussions. I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
arrested. And so, yeah, there's only one side. And even when you try to Google it, I mean, you can't even say certain things on YouTube. You
Yeah.
can't Google information. You're going to get. I mean, I don't know if you listened to that last live stream. If you Google, like, you're just going to get reference to hotlines. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to
Right.
get any help in the other direction.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But I
Okay.
mean, is that a little you wouldn't consider that a little like morbid? Like would you want people on hotlines telling you to like there was a it was a light white lady who was indicted for telling her boyfriend to kill himself because he said he was gonna kill himself. And she said, do it. And she was indicted for involuntary manslaughter and she got prison time. Like this was like 2 years ago. It was a big case. Like do you like like where that's when I'm like, where's that line of like, yeah, you have the right to tell to do what you want with your body, but like it's hard to
Um.
like put that in words.
Okay. Are we going to criminalize people for imposing life for all the breeders? Because that is the moving force. That is the moving force behind all suffering and death. So if we're not going to
True.
criminalize people, I mean, they encourage people to have children. Oh, you should have babies, right? You
That
know
is
that
true.
baby is going to die. So why aren't those people being prosecuted?
That's the what you're talking about. You're talking about the paradox of choice. And that's a long conversation. And I agree that particularly on the conservative side, they talk on both sides of their behinds. One moment it's freedom of choice, the next moment it's not that. They pick and choose. They don't like abortion, but then they use abortion when they don't want certain people to live, or they're pro-life on Monday but killing black people on Tuesday. Like I completely understand that. Like the whole system, the person, especially on the conservative side, is very double standards, and they pick and choose when it's convenient about what they want, for sure.
Yeah, they're not really pro-life.
Oh
They're
yeah,
not
no.
really pro-life at all. If you
Yeah,
you
I
can't
saw
be
your I know it's off top, but I saw your stream about abortion, and like you went, it was really informative about like you were like talking about the rules like Roe versus Wade, but like the natural law and all that. And like they're really not pro life. They're just pro making people, and in this case women, you know, have children. So
yeah, because
um
but I
sorry,
mean,
go ahead.
on the Dobbs decision, they were saying that there was no precedent for abortion. It's like, no. I mean, or for legalized abortion. No. The
Mhm.
point is that before Roe v. Wade, or before, I don't know what was the first case where they started criminalizing abortion, people were widely practicing infanticide. That's what the animals do. And so
Right. They're
abortion
eating.
is a much more humane alternative to infanticide. So you're going to take away abortion and infanticide, which was a natural right under common law. So
Right.
I went through all the case law where it showed how under English common law, when women practiced infanticide, they didn't
Hmm.
prosecute it because it was a right to privacy. They didn't want to bring more emotional trauma to women who lost their children. Whether
Right.
people would leave their babies out in the woods, and people were acting like abortion is something new. Is
Oh,
so
right. Like it's never been done before. Women have been putting wire hangers up their cuckoo for centuries, like drinking turpentine, sorry. Like it's nothing new. But it is for in terms of abortion, it is a form of control, particularly of women's bodies. And of course, anti-black slavery is another thing about abortion and the right to choose, and all that. So I know I definitely agree with you there. Like they definitely pick and choose when they want to be pro-life, and then when they want to be, not pro-life, for sure. And I agree with you on the whole, like, I remember you said earlier today about how, like, when you are put into a mental institution, it's not always because you're actually crazy. And I agree. Like, I've seen a lot of cases where like they throw women in psychoactive situations, black people, gays, and if you're not quote unquote normal, then back in the day they used to just throw you into the mental institution, and you weren't nothing was really wrong with you. You just weren't male, white, or straight. You know.
Well, back
And
in the day,
so,
they would just say that you were possessed by some demons or something, and then
right.
it was more of a, you know, puritanical thing. I want to respond to this question or this comment. In any country, you can euthanize for free, low key, not. The problem is that you don't want to do it yourself because you may, it may be botched, and then you're going to be stuck
Right.
living your life with serious injuries. So you want it done right. If you don't want to take, I'm not even going to say the method because I may get in trouble. You don't want to do something that's going to harm yourself. Like the whole point is for you to no longer be here, not to make your situation worse.
Right. And they even mercy killings is considered murder in the United States. In a lot of yeah, in most states, if you decide to take the life of your loved one because they're in pain without, yeah, basically without permission, you can be charged with murder.
Well, that's what the whole Dr. Kevorkian case was about. He went on camera, he recorded, the S word, or no, I'm not even going to say the S word because he actually,
Mhm.
there's a difference. He didn't just assist them in committing the S word. He actually euthanized someone on camera because he
Mm.
wanted to. He wanted, it was a case that, or he was trying to egg them to prosecute him so that he could challenge the law, and they didn't do it. Um,
Mm.
he was in prison for a while for assisted, but for the second one, I don't know. I wanted to cover Dr. Kevorkian, but I don't know. All those vegans really messed up. They thwarted the plans that I had with that channel. I'm not covering that shit anymore. Like I was trying to promote anti-natalism, but they wanted me to talk about veganism. So I'm like, fuck that shit. Like,
You had me dying earlier when you were like, "Oh, you know, as particularly as Black people, we have bigger fish to fry than worrying about, animals." you know, white people and their animals. They love it. They care more about animals than they do about humans, and specifically Black people. But I thought that was interesting. You were like, there's a pecking order, and we have to choose ourselves. Okay, you don't have time to be thinking about the cows down on a farm somewhere.
well, it's not even that they care more about animals than they care about Black people. They care more about animals than they care about themselves. That's the problem. And it's not, I
That's
mean,
true too.
yeah, they care more about a dog. Like they don't even care about their own freedom. It's so pathetic. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's so many, we're so oppressed, and you're
Right.
worrying about a damn pig. Are you serious? I mean,
And I feel like you should, because like as humans, there needs to be order. So I do think that we should have rules and laws that protect animals and nature, and not just bulldozing down habitats and all that stuff without proper, you know, putting them somewhere else. Like I do think we should care about nature and animals and stuff like that. But in terms of vegan, I just think that's so it's so funny, and it is, like you said, it is a privilege to be like, most of us, we just don't have that. We don't have the time nor the resources to like be vegan, you know, or to put a priority on not eating meat or not consuming any type of meat or dairy.
but if you take care of the human oppression, that takes care of the animal oppression also. So the
Yeah, it's all linked.
animals
It's
are
all
going to
linked.
continue being oppressed so long as humans are oppressed. The reason that animals are oppressed in the first place is because so if you
Yeah.
cut out the procreation, but they don't just care about factory farming. It's also about wildlife. So they a lot of them want to continue breeding human beings into hell in order to protect animals. So
Hmm.
it's so paradoxical. It has absolutely nothing to do with the original scope of anti-natalism. So I
Hmm.
really had to distance myself from that
Yeah.
because I'm a real activist. I don't just sit on YouTube. I'm actually out in the streets protesting. I fight the system through litigation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very time consuming, and I don't have help with that. So there's very few people who are even doing that, and you think that I'm
Right.
supposed to divert the the energy that I have for this to focus on some damn animal? No, you focus on the damn animals. I'm going to continue fighting for human rights
Right. Can we get
because
to the
there's only a
humans
few people who
first?
can do what I do. There's not anybody who can fight for a damn animal. There's not many people who are going to sue the damn police department.
Right. And I didn't know that, like, animal cruelty, that whole concept, that's relatively new.
It came
Like,
from
in other
Hitler.
cultures.
It came from Hitler. They don't even know that.
Oh, really? Like, in other cultures, like, they are more like, they eat animals, but then they do take like, we're the only Western in society, like, that's a new concept, which I didn't know. I thought that was always a thing, but, like, I've learned over the years, like, no, within the last maybe 30 years, 20 years, like, animal cruelty is a big thing, but prior to that, you could, do whatever you wanted to animal, no one really cared.
Well, it's
Uh,
mainly because of factory farming, because they are being abused in those
mhm,
factory farms. But we wouldn't have factory farms in the first place if human population wasn't at 8 billion. So, in order to
mm,
feed the growing population, you need factory farms because it's more efficient. And they don't
right,
want to account for that. They want to continue breeding human beings into hell and then try to shame you for consuming your natural diet while not doing
right.
anything to address the root problem.
But then don't wanna that's the thing that the whole, like, it'd be one thing if everybody had health insurance, everybody had a roof over their head, everybody was healthy, everybody got a good education. But the people who argue for people to be born, they don't want any of those things. They don't want an equitable life. They don't want they're not trying to solve world hunger. They don't have a problem people taking out liens on their houses to pay medical bills. Like, so it's not consistent. It's like, we want you here, but we're not going to do anything to make your life easy while you're here. It's
Well,
very
because they're
like,
not the ones who are creating the narrative. They're following a narrative that somebody else created. They're not thinkers. They're not leaders. Somebody else comes up with something that sounds edgy or sounds like it sounds noble.
right.
Oh,
Or
sacrifice
it's great
yourself.
on paper. Like, it sounds great, not on paper. It sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's very different. And I feel like some people don't get that. Like, what you're saying sounds good in theory, up in the sky, but when you put it down on real life, tangible, with human beings, with feelings and emotions, that's where it changes. And they don't always like see that. So,
Well, it's like what Noam Chomsky wrote about manufactured consent. It's like there's this illusion that we live in a free society because it's democratic, but really it's not. It's all brainwashing. They get your consent by controlling your mind. It's through public education, through mass media, um, and it's like, do you have any original thoughts? Like, that's why I'm not interested in debating them, because they don't have anything original. It's so cookie cutter.
well, I
um
mean, to be fair, nothing's new under the sun. The stuff
n-
that you're saying has probably been said before.
no,
Like,
no, well, no, I'm not copying. I'm not a part of any group. Like, I'm not. The things that I say in my video, I'm coming up with that originally. Like, I don't follow anybody. Even the one that I did about that judge that guy who attacked the judge. People are all telling me, I can't believe you said that. Like, your take on this is. I'm not going to say what everyone else is saying. I'm trying to present a different perspective. That judge is just as violent as the criminal defendant. You just don't see the violence that she's committing because somebody else is doing it, but she's ordering it. So yeah, I don't feel sorry for
are
her.
you talking about that black guy who jumped on that lady?
Yeah, she's just as violent as he is.
You think, okay, I'm not, I would love to know why you think that in that moment, she was just as violent as he was. I
It's
would
not
just
in
like,
that moment. It's about what her position is.
yes,
Like,
she's a white
even if
person in
it's
power.
a traffic stop. that's an act of violence. Because if you don't pay it, men with guns are going to show up at your house to throw you in a cage or force you to go to court. So, or they're going to prevent you from registering your vehicle or take your driver's license away. So it's not about what she did in that particular moment. Her role as a judge puts her at the helm of a violent enterprise. So she's a violent actor, and he's basically in the same boat. The only difference is she has the force of law behind her, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it's not in alignment with natural law. So yeah, and I'm not defending him. This guy was not the perfect defendant. He
He
does
sure
have a
wasn't,
violent
girl. He sure
history.
wasn't.
He was in court for battery, and I'm not defending him. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is this is a rare occasion where a judge has to face an actual consequence for her oppression, and I was here for it.
I have a question for you. If she was black, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, no, if y'all saw me, I went after that woman who was oppressing that woman for this attorney. She's going to have her thrown in jail for some attorney's fees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just as bad as that judge. It's the same system. They're part of the same system. It's not. I mean, I don't make it about race. I think the system is oppressive. I think we're all slaves, and I don't think there's a difference between the. I mean, of course, black people were chattel slaves, but
Right. We're all participants in
right
this
now
system.
we're all enslaved. It's the same shit. I mean, it's a little. There's like a scale. I mean, maybe socially. No, 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 no. I can't even say that. I think if you're like a poor redneck white person, you're going to be just as much of a threat to the system as I am. Yeah, those rednecks, they get treated that they'll beat the shit out of them too. So
Right.
I mean, I'm going to be covering that too. I'm going to be covering the sovereign citizens because this whole shit started with some free men out in Massachusetts. The sovereign citizens and shit. They had this standoff with the police officers. So no, white people have been complaining about government oppression even more than. If anything, I think black people think that the government is their friend. Like they want more regulations, and
Yeah.
they're
I
all
mean,
Democrat and shit. Like you think, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. They become lawyers and they become judges, and they're a part of the same fucking system. I don't give them a free pass. They're full
so
of
do
shit.
you believe in checks and balances at all? Because like you said, like, yeah, you were like, oh, well, if you don't pay your parking ticket, oh, men with guns are gonna come to your house and drag you to court. Well, that's a punishment for you not paying your parking. Like, there has to be law and order of some kind.
The problem is
Of
that
some kind.
the law only applies to us. So if a judge goes over the speed limit, or if a police officer goes over the speed limit, they don't have to suffer the same consequences that we have. And I know the ins and out of what actually goes on. I know that they don't have to prove intent. I know that they don't have to produce an alpha. Information or indictment in a misdemeanor case, so they don't even have to show probable cause. All they
Mhm.
have to do is make some bullshit allegation under a sworn complaint, and they don't even follow the procedure most of the time. And then, you're spending the next 2 years trying to fight a damn ticket, wasting. Most people would rather pay it than I fight my tickets.
Oh, you
I think
do?
that the work is so
I don't fight my ticket.
unconscionable. The amount of work that I'm putting into fighting a damn ticket is ridiculous.
I'm not
But it's
fighting
the
no
principle.
$30 ticket. I'm sorry. Here's the money. Especially if personally, like, if I know I'm wrong, if I know, okay, I didn't have money in the meter or I'm parked illegally, I gotta eat that. Like, I feel like, you gotta take an L when, like, you can't fight everything.
Oh, I can. And if I can't, then
Like, there are times when you have to, like, okay, maybe I should, shoot, I forgot to put money in. Like, you can't, because, like, then for me, I always ask, like, do you want the system to not exist, or do you just want everybody to abide by the system? You
I'm an
know?
anarchist. I don't want this system to exist. That's what people don't understand when they're in my comment section. They're like, well, I can't believe you said that. No, I don't believe I believe that authority based on force is illegitimate. So I want the entire system to be abolished
Okay.
and replace it with something new, because what we have right now is bullshit.
But then I always ask them, what is this new thing? And then people, oh, Andy, oh, we're not there yet. I'm just asking, what's this new thing? Like, especially law, judges, lawyers, police, they're etched into American lexicon that like a society without those things is
No,
unfathomable.
no, I did a whole video about Jean-Jacques Rousseau, how he explained the social the discourse on inequalities.
Hmm.
We talked the reason why people are so
Perplexed.
well,
Oh, they give a lot. I know they give a lot of pushback when people say no police, no judges, no this, no that. People are like, what are we supposed to do? Where are the murderers? No prisons. Where are the murderers supposed to go?
the reason that people are so degenerate is because of all the laws that they're so
Right.
controlled, they're so stifled. They never learn the difference between right and wrong in a natural manner. The way cats and dogs go out and they play with each other and they realize, hey, if I hit you, that hurts. So therefore, I don't want you to hit me, so I'm not going to hit you. You don't learn that because you're just told what to do. You don't learn it organically. And so that's why everybody's so corrupt. So the more laws that you impose on people, the more
Hmm.
degenerate they become.
So you don't believe in because like you sometimes like you know how like you know the old saying like oh like when we were little, I don't know about you, but like oh if you put your hands on the stove you're gonna get burnt. But sometimes kids don't learn, so you have to tell them don't touch the stove or you're gonna get burnt. If you and then sometimes hey if you don't listen you're gonna get burnt.
Do you think society is better now than it was? I don't know, like back in the. I mean, besides the slavery and the.
Yeah, I'm like well yeah.
But I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about in terms of social order. Social order is worse now, and we have more laws on the book.
So when you say I think that things evolve, the things that we did 50 years ago, we don't do anymore necessarily, and vice versa. There are things we do now we never did before. So it's like things evolve. I mean, if flying on an airplane 80 years ago was unfathomable and flying in air, now people take flight every day, all day long. So I always look at it as social progress.
It's,
Things change hopefully for the better. If you told Martin Luther King 50 years ago that we would have had a black president, he would have said, girl, bye.
I'm still waiting for the black president, but okay.
I thought skin color, girl. Okay. So like things change. Like I just don't think that like when I'm 50, I'm 26 now. When I'm 50, things will be so different. We'll have new technology, new cars. Cars might fly in 25 years. I don't know. So yes, I would argue that things had changed. Do I think that racism is over or sexism or whatever? No. Of course not. But
Well,
things have changed. You don't
well,
think so?
Benjamin Franklin wrote that a person who would trade his liberty for security deserves neither. So the fact that things are changing is not an excuse, because what that's what I'm trying to say. They look down on people who are primitive, people who don't have advanced technology, but they're
Mhm.
living in a state of nature. They don't have all the government oppression. So I mean, the problem is that we weren't raised in a state of nature, right? So
Right.
once you're brought up in this modern world, um,
Right. That's true.
then it's hard to go back to that. But
Yeah.
I would have preferred that if I had never been raised in America. I would rather be raised out on, in Africa, where I could just not have to work every day, not, and now you're accustomed.
I
You're
don't know about that
accustomed
one.
to living in air conditioning and driving around in a car, and people assume that that is a better way of life. It's not. It's just hard to go from this to that. But I would
I have a
rather have
question for you
that.
then. I have a question for you. If because we're talking from a Western and if specifically American, if that is the case, then why do people from third world countries fight so hard to quote unquote have the American dream to come over here? If it's not a better way of living, if living in a hut and not working and being in 100-degree weather with no AC is a perfect life, a great life, then why do people fight so hard to come to America?
Because the Western world has a corrupting influence on the rest of the world. So the
Oh,
same way, if once you're exposed to it, now you see this. This is something that you don't have access to.
aspirational.
You
Okay.
think, yeah, it's you're comparing your situation to, you know,
The
their
next.
situation.
Mhm.
Of course, it looks better, and we're glamorizing it. We're making it seem like, oh, I would never want to do that. But if they had never seen this, if they had never seen the
Right.
shopping malls and the air conditioned buildings, they would not know any different and they would be okay with what they have.
Okay. And I think that's fair because I do know one of the issues with Americans is we do have a very hard time thinking that our way is the best way or the only way. And I do agree that people have the right to live their life how they want to. If they want to live with no electricity, that's their prerogative. Who are we to go tell them that you need this or you need that? But I will say, you don't think that like having running water is a good thing, having refrigeration, having electricity running through your where the place that you live at. You don't think for I maybe this might be an American thing, but like for me, those are basic human rights.
I wouldn't say it's a human right. I think rights are things that you get under natural law. Rights are basically restrictions on the government's power. But I would say that if the problem is that is the population, that you can't have finite resources go into an infinite population growth. So
Mm.
if we have
Clock
reduced
it. Yep.
population, and that's why they're trying to reduce the population now, because what we're doing right now is not sustainable. Everybody in the whole world can't have running water and refrigeration, electricity, and
But that's
internet.
isn't that a bad thing? That's sad.
It's not possible. It's not sustainable. We're destroying the world. So if you want to have a high quality of life, that's fine, but you're going to have to drastically reduce the population. And people
Mhm.
don't want to do that. They want it all. They want to continue breeding to excess while maintaining a high standard of living, and it's not possible.
Okay.
All the third world is being raped of resources in order to sustain our quality of life. I mean,
Right.
the metals that are used in our cell phones come from Africa.
Mhm.
Most of the natural resources that we use are imported from South
China.
America. So,
Yep. Guatemala somewhere. Yep.
and as soon as they pull out the global economy and move towards, I did a whole research dissertation. I don't know what it was in my master's program about this, and my professor thought I was completely out my mind.
Batshit
But this what I'm
crazy.
talking about is not really discussed in America. It's really discussed more so in Europe. They already know about the population studies and where the
Mm.
scarcity. Man, I wish that fucker didn't derail my channel about anti-natalism, because I was going to expose the whole overpopulation thing. I'm not even going to do that anymore because um I'm not, it's been derailed so much that they want me to talk about animals, and
You
I'm
really
not
are
getting the
stuck
type of
on
support that I want,
stupid
so
with
it's
those
it's a waste
animals.
of time. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not putting that much energy into researching this shit and presenting it, and then I get 100 views. Fuck that shit. If I were to talk about animals, yeah, my channel would be flooded, but I'm not doing that shit. Fuck
That's
that.
crazy. That's
Like,
sad that like animals really take precedent to human life. That's really because I still believe that, and I feel like most people are on average, like we love animals, but most people don't view humans equal to animals. There's a hierarchy and we're at the top. But there are some folks, I mean, I agree, like pets can be your children. Like I'm not saying that you should just discard animals, but like if your dog bites a child, someone does have the right to shoot it, I think. To let like I think like there's a pecking order.
that's not how they see it. They even if a dog bites you, if a rat comes into your house and
Oh,
and
don't
spreads
get
disease,
me
they want you to.
started on pests. like I watched YouTube videos of like, and these are white people. This is white on white crime. These white people, they live in the middle of nowhere in the farms, and they kill pets for like they kill rodents. And so many people in the comments are like, "Oh my god, it's animal cruelty about rats and about skunks or mice." I'm like,
That's not natural.
that's
That's
crazy.
indoctrination. Like they're degenerate. Like they have a backward standard of right and wrong that is not
That's
about their
so
own
I'm like, these are
preservation.
pests. These are not pets. They're not domesticated. And then the guy has to come defend himself and be like, oh, well, these rats are eating my chickens or like eating my lively stock because he like farms. Like these are not pets. Like these are rodents.
That's not how
But
they see it. They
they don't
any
see it that
animal
way.
any animal that is sentient is basically equal or slightly below human beings, but
Right.
um at the end of the day, your survival comes second to their survival. So even if they're a threat to you, you're supposed
Right.
to just let the rat crawl into bed with you and not.
Literally eat through your whole house, like do all types of stuff, and like, and then it's just like, oh well, but then they have what is it called, like non-cruelty, like, or you don't have to, you don't have to kill them, you don't have to kill
Catch and
the,
release. That's
yeah,
bullshit
catch and
because
release, which I guess like that's fair. I guess if you don't have to kill them, why do that? But it's like it's so much stock and interest to these animals. I'm like, you
because
guys
you're
would literally be homeless.
because they're so invasive that if you let one go, it's going to multiply into thousands.
I'm
Um,
like, that's crazy. Like these and it's, but I mean, and I'm not like a person that feels like you just, you gotta kill all the animals because, I'm not saying that. But if there's a wasp nest, I'm gonna kill it. I'm not gonna be like, oh well, the environment needs it, the food chain. No. You are invading my home and you need to go. I understand you need a place to stay, but you can't stay here.
yeah, they're full of shit because when they encounter those situations, they do the same thing everyone else. If a rat were to come in their house, even though they're going to tell us not to do
Thank
anything,
you.
they're going to
They're
kill it.
gonna get the biggest shotgun
Or
off the rack.
they may not do it themselves, but they'll probably have somebody else do it, and then they just won't watch.
Right. And I think, and that's what I say. It's like this full fake concern. Cause I'm like, if any rat or rodent, possum, anything like that was to come up in your place of living and infest, you would call the exterminators tomorrow. Please stop. But online, there's like this sense of like, oh, and I get it. We're human, so we're quote unquote bigger than them. They're more, they're more scared of you than you're scared of them.
No,
Bullshit.
no, that's not true. That's an
And I'm
assumption
like,
that they
no.
make. They don't have any regard for anybody's phobias. They think
No.
it's funny, so they're
Like,
they're not as compassionate as they pretend to be. They're very cruel and callous.
yes.
Yeah,
And then like they say that, but like, y'all eat chickens every day. Shut up. But that's okay, right? It's okay to eat chicken because that's quote unquote normal. But it's not okay to kill a rat. Like, it's so many inconsistency. That's why I just be like, I have to take what those folks say over there with a grain of salt. The vegans, even like the people who don't eat meat. Like, you're not eating meat, but you got a fur coat. Please leave me alone. Like, um, but no, I think that the topic was really good. I don't know. I feel like this needs to be balanced because I do feel like sometimes this is like, I'm not saying the police is always right. Oh, honey, I watch Law and Order. I know the police is corrupt. Trust. But I just also don't think that like we can live in a world currently where there's no order, there's no policing,
but
everything
why do we have to
goes.
live in a
I
world
just
at all? I mean, if you're going to force people, first of all, we didn't
mm,
consent to being born. We never consented to obeying somebody else's laws. And then you're not going to give us the option to opt out. To me, that sounds like a recipe for tyranny. Why should I have to be enslaved? Basically, what's happening is they're taking our lives for a public purpose. Now, when you take property or you take anything, the government has to give you just compensation. So when you say,
Right.
not you, but when the majority, it's tyranny of the majority, that because the majority decided that this is what they want, now me as an
Right.
individual, I don't get a say. I'm supposed to just obey along with that. So you're taking my life for a public purpose. You're forcing me to obey your laws, even though I harm no one. You're forcing, I mean, you're enslaving me to what your will is. And I'm sorry, I don't accept it. And nobody
Yeah.
else is saying what I'm saying. You can, I mean, you said that other people, no, I don't need anybody's, I can't think of one person. This is the reason why people are so take aghast by the things that I'm saying. There is nobody else. I'm not following anybody else. The shit that I'm saying is completely original. Um, but the only influence I would probably say would be Ayn Rand. I mean, if I say, like, I might cite Noam Chomsky or whoever. Um, but I put all that shit together and I synthesize it and I come up with my own thoughts. I'm not a follower. Those vegans are complete followers. They don't have any original thoughts.
So when you say original thought, do you mean a thought that is not popular? Is that
Okay,
what
so
you
like for
mean?
example, when I did that video about reparations, everybody else is talking about money, right? No, I'm saying I want sovereignty. I want to be free from this government enslavement bullshit. Can you Google one other person on YouTube who said what I said?
No, because it's not the but we need
No,
money. We need the
no, I
money.
want some land where I can be left alone and be free from this government tyranny.
Okay.
That's all I want.
So like I feel
Keep
like
your
you're
damn
more
money.
like
Keep your
freedom,
damn money. Give me
like
my
your
sovereignty.
freedom. But you do know, like, we're not dealing with robots. Like, there has to be, like, we're human. Humans, unfortunately, sin. We commit crime.
No,
We do bad things. There has to be, even in your world, there has to be some type of order. Someone in charge. Because even in your world, no one's gonna be
no.
perfect.
It's
They're
based
gonna be
on
people who commit
consent.
crime.
So even all indigenous people are anarchistic. Native Americans,
Hmm.
Africans, South
Right.
Americans,
Hmm.
Aboriginal,
Before European
Australians, they
colonization.
were all anarchistic. It's not
Real.
about not having any type of authority. It's based on consent. So you belong to a tribe, and your tribe says this.
Hmm.
Um, this is what you agree to. You can leave that tribe if you don't like it. The way that things are, it's not based on consent. It's based on force, and you can't leave because no matter where you go, it's so standardized everywhere. If I were to go from Texas
Literally.
to Arizona or to New
Michigan,
York, it's the
right?
same
Yeah.
bullshit. Where are you supposed to go to actually be free of this shit? You can't
I
even go to
mean, you
Africa
could
because
be, but
even
you would
Africa
be
is just as bad as America. They're
colonized.
controlled, like they have laws and shit. Where are you supposed to go to be free from this bullshit?
I mean, you can. That's why I'm like, well, where would you go where there's no, like, you gotta pay taxes, you know, you gotta be a quote unquote productive member of society. That's just how we're taught. You know, you gotta go to school, get a job, create a family. Those are like the blueprints. So like what you're saying, I know bitches be like on your ass. Like, what are you talking
They're
about?
taking your life for a public purpose. They're telling you that your life doesn't belong to you. You're supposed to do what they want you to do. You're supposed to work and be a damn wage slave, put on a fake smile and be happy. And if you say anything else, then we're just going to arrest you and pump you full of drugs.
Well, I mean, some say that's life. You know, life. You get up, you go to work, pay your bills, and you go. You know, and you do the same thing.
Not by choice. But I'm fighting against it. And that's the reason why I'm not going to have any damn children.
Oh, I'm not saying never, but I can't do children because that's too much of responsibility. In the way that we treat children these days, children are already under oppressed group of people, and don't let you be black or gay. You can forget it.
Children are
So
slaves. Children are slaves. And that's the first socialization into their enslavement. That
that is
their
true.
parents are going to
Yep.
force their will on them. They don't have any say about
Hmm.
anything.
No autonomy. Yep. I agree. to an extent. I mean, I do think that you should take care of children, look out for them, guide them, because children are naive. They don't know a lot. They are dumb, as they should be, because they don't know anything. So it is ours. But I also do believe that, adults take advantage of children, all that child labor, all that stuff that shouldn't be going on, but unfortunately still does. But I'm with you with that. No children for me. It's too much.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess most people don't think about it. They're just living in their own bubble. They're inundated with constant entertainment. So they never
that's
stop to
true.
think about, oh, I really don't actually own my own life. I really don't have any control over anything. Like John Jacques Rousseau explained all this. The reason that people are the way they are is because they're always looking down instead of looking up. So you're looking down on who you can control, who you can oppress, but you never look at who's oppressing you.
Okay, TJ Jakes. Okay, you better preach. I mean, that's true. That's one thing I've always noticed. So, like, most folks don't, not most, but a lot of people don't truly want equality. They just want power, and you can tell because when someone has the ability to have control or power over another group of people, they take it 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, they identify with the oppressor. They want to be the oppressor.
Right.
I mean, it's like you look at Judge
But they
Judy,
always
like,
say you cannot take the master's tools to break down the master's house, but people do not listen.
You look at Judge Judy and
it
she's
doesn't work.
like being, embarrassing people on TV. They don't feel sorry for the people who are being humiliated. They're like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could, talk shit to people. And like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to be like that.
We are, but yeah, I feel like we are human. We're not perfect beings. We're good, but we're also shady, messy. We gossip. I mean, that's just.
No, but I don't want to dominate or oppress people. I don't get off on that. Like,
I don't want to do that.
I want to, I mean,
Yeah.
I wish people were more egalitarian to where, like, even like with me trying to teach people the law and shit, they don't want to hear that shit. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm trying to teach you how to not be oppressed, and you just want to be entertained. You just want to go watch television or some shit. Like, the whole thing is like, yeah, people may want help in their own individual situation, but when it comes to actually fighting the system, so there's some type of continuity, no, they're not interested in that. They want help for their one situation, but they want everything to stay the same. Like, there's no revolution going on. Like, there's no like, it's all incremental. And I find that problematic. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. There is nobody. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm this some amazing,
revolution
thinker or whatever. What I'm saying, at least I'm original. I'm not following anybody else's shit.
That's one thing. I mean, I will give you that. I will say that you're not afraid to, and people. You say the stuff you say the stuff that you say without being a bigot, because some people they think, oh, I have my own opinion, and you're just being a bigot. You're not. So I'll give you that. Like, you definitely have your own thoughts, and people may disagree, they may agree. It is what it is, but you definitely push this, what we consider normal, what we consider everyday life. And for a lot of us, it's like unfathomable. Like, what is this man talking about?
Well, because you have to start I mean, it's like things are the way they are, but you have to go back to the state of nature. How were things before all of this bullshit? What do the animals do? I mean, just because things are the way they are now, this is relatively new. This has only been, I mean, America is a relatively new country, and the industrialized world hasn't been around that long. So this is not normal. I mean, we think it is, but it's not. There has never been a point in history where the government has had so much control over our lives.
Yeah, but normal it constantly is changing. It's not
But
infinite. I mean, it's not finite. People think it's
not
finite,
only
but
isn't it normal, but it's not healthy. Look at the way people are. They're more degenerate than ever before. People are depressed. People are
well,
more
you could think
narcissistic. People have less empathy. People are more,
yeah, that's true.
hedonistic.
Yeah, but I feel like every generation says, "Oh, back in my day, we used to do the oh, y'all kids." So I mean, we'll always be that. It'll always be. Well, back when I was 10 years old, we used to do things differently. Oh, back in our day, we had AI. We can imagine what they'll say in 50 years, what they'll have. So I mean, that's just a part of the course in terms of like things change. That is life. Things will always change. Now, people can argue for the better, for the worse, but change is
It's not
inevitable.
life, it's hell. I mean, you can call it life, but this is a hellscape, and it's just getting worse. So, I mean, people say like that's life as if life is something that is inevitable. No, life does not have to exist. People don't have to procreate.
Well, yeah, but we also, I mean, do you not believe in the right to choose? And if I mean, we have to. It goes both ways. People have the right to have kids as well as not have them.
Okay, but it's not no, that's a misnomer because we're talking about their right to impose life on someone else, and then once you're here, you don't even have a right to end the life that you never asked for in the first place. So there is no freedom of choice. This is an imposition all the way around. And then they
Mm.
don't even have freedom of choice because they don't even have access to birth control. That is being curtailed. So um they're basically slaves to their biology. I mean, most people don't have children on purpose. It's not planned. If you're heterosexual, um, and you're not using protection, most of it is just recklessness. So it's not. There's no deliberation going on. These people are just
I mean,
drones.
I would push back against that. There are plenty of couples who are dying to have kids
That's not the majority though.
who
That's like that. Those are people who are like later. Those are people who um may be successful and they planned everything out right, and now they think that this is the inappropriate time to have children. But most people are not um thinking
okay.
like that. Most people are just fucking, and then here comes a baby.
Okay, I guess you could, yeah. But we also laugh when, particularly men, when their wife or their girlfriend says I'm pregnant, and we're like, well, how did that happen? Oh, they look so. And what do we say? Man, you knew what you were doing. So like, we know the consequences of having unprotected sex for the most part. Like most adult men and women, we know what happens when you have unprotected sex. There's a chance that you can get someone pregnant. So when men are like, ugh, you're pregnant, how'd that happen? And most people are like, boy, don't act stupid.
Well, because it's the
So like,
woman's responsibility. It's like I never asked any questions, but I'm just going to assume that you're on birth control. So if you get pregnant, it's your fault. I had nothing to do with it.
so stupid. No, I mean, I agree that like, yeah, it's a double standard of like it's more on the woman, but like we know like this is nothing new. Egg meets sperm, woman gets pregnant. Like that's like one basic life 101. So I'm not saying that everybody plans to have a kid, but there are a lot of people who know what they're getting themselves into. They know they took that risk and now they're pregnant. They're pregnant, they want to have children. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that because I also believe, like, you have the right to if you want to have children,
Well,
shoot, why
okay.
not?
Well, my parents wanted to have children, and because of their ignorance, I'm paying the consequence for it. So, yeah, I think that's.
Do you tell your parents your
Oh yeah,
thoughts?
oh yeah. I told them both,
You
and my
do?
dad gave me some bullshit about Christianity, about how this life is temporary and we're going to be in heaven and shit. And my
Okay.
ex mom really had nothing intelligent to say. Just what you mean? Like she just told me that I needed help.
Yeah. Well, Black people, especially, a lot of Black people have eaten up the religious shit that we were served for years and years and put it in the hands of God and you need to pray and all that BS. So I definitely understand that. You need Jesus. And it's like, ugh. I always say European colonization did a number on us, I tell you. It sure did. Even as much as we want to fight it, it's like in our blood.
It's
Like
the
in our veins.
Christianity part
Yes.
that's so destructive.
Like that Christianity is like glue. And talking gorilla glue. Like it's so hard to get unstuck from that. Like, and when you say the stuff that you're saying, it's like, oh my goodness.
No, prayer doesn't help. Nothing fails like prayer. It's the most useless exercise. I mean, if you want to consider it like a form of meditation, that maybe it's going to help your consciousness, but it doesn't change the universe. Even according to Christianity, you can't change the will of
Don't
God.
say that
So
on
why are you
YouTube.
praying?
They're gonna come cancel you.
You can't change the will of God, even if you are a Christian. Why do you think they don't even read their own damn Bible? They're so full of shit.
Don't start. They're gonna
I
come
don't care.
get
They're
you.
not going to say anything to me because
because once you start talking about religion, oh my
no,
god.
I've done live streaming about Christianity, and they'll talk shit on their channels, but they're not going to talk shit on my channel. And I'll debate any one of them. They what they fail to realize is that those who are atheists or agnostic, most of us used to be Christian, and the reason that we reject Christianity is because we discovered the truth that it was all bullshit. So a lot of us are well informed about Christianity. Yeah, I can debate anybody about Christianity. It's so full of shit.
So do you ever say, you don't ever say, like, how we say like platitudes? So like, oh, there is like something good happened. Oh, there is a God. Or, God don't like ugly. The devil's coming to collect. Like you don't believe in, like, not that I believe like literally the devil's gonna come collect, but we say things like that to make sense of the stuff that goes on in the world. You don't agree with those type of things?
I mean, I don't think that the Bible should be taken literally anyway. I believe in a
Mhm.
Gnostic version of it. It's supposed to be parables. It's supposed to be it's these are stories that they're supposed to have a message. It's not literal.
Right.
It never was supposed. Jesus did not literally exist. Um,
Mm. Woo!
Most of those stories in the Old Testament, they made up by looking at the stars. They did. I mean, but these Christians don't
Wow.
know that. Oh my gosh, I don't. I mean, I think that knowledge is power, and if you want to be kept in a perpetual state of ignorance, then fine, believe that. Maybe that makes you feel better. Um, Life is hard, and I understand people need to lean on something, but if it's causing you to make bad decisions, you're going to continue breeding people into hell because you think God is going to protect them. Then, yeah, that's dangerous, and that's something that needs to be corrected.
I know. I will say, like, when people do the God thing, I'm like, you mean the same God that allowed slavery and the Holocaust? Oh,
Well,
okay.
according to them,
And
everything
then
happens for a reason. There's supposed to be some
right,
good.
right. Oh, well, that's his plan. Oh, okay, okay. So I do have to catch him on that one. I'm like, you're talking about that God? Okay, interesting. I mean, I believe, yes, everything happens for a reason. As shitty as it is, as bad as it can be, things do happen for a reason. If you can't control, you can't control. I mean, you can make decisions, but some things are just inevitable. People are gonna die. People get sick. There's just some things you can't control. Um, but I also think that you also have a lot of we also as humans do a lot of decision making. You can pray to God all you want that you want to become sober, but if you don't stop drinking, you're not going to come so like you need some action behind, the prayer. And I think sometimes people forget that part.
Yeah, faith without works is dead.
Literally. So that's something people start bringing. I'm like, I don't want to hear nothing about no God, girl. Okay, because you ain't done nothing to actually pursue your goal, but you want to put it in the hands of the Lord. Okay.
But that's the whole goal. The whole goal is to make people complacent to where they don't actually do anything. They just sit around praying. And I mean, you can.
Right.
I mean, the Bible doesn't say that you should do that, but if you want to cherry pick, yeah, it can say put everything in the Lord's hands. But it's
But we need some work. You need to go get some help if you're actually like isn't it like there's literally a story in the Bible. I don't know if it's in the Bible, but like or maybe it's just like a folklore where like someone is like asking for help and like God literally puts things in front of them, but because it didn't come the way they felt like it should come, like they were like, oh well, God didn't help. God didn't do anything. And it's like, well, he did. It's just it didn't come in the way that you felt like it should come. And it wasn't as vibrant or what do you think about spirituality?
I don't believe in spirituality.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I would need some proof that there are spirits. I don't know what that means.
Mm. You really do come out here and shake the table. No spirits at all. I mean, I'm not really into ghosts or nothing like that, but like, you know, your grandmother passes away, your uncle dies, or you
I
know, stuff like that. You don't think they're looking down on you or anything like that,
No,
or
I think spirits, okay, in a different connotation, is a tool for controlling people. That people do
Mm,
are controlled by energy. That if you do things a certain way, then they're more likely to obey you. Yeah, I believe that. Um, but like um, mysticism, no, I don't believe in that.
mm. So you're not into like ghosts and hauntedness and all that
No,
stuff. Okay. I mean, me neither. Like, I'm not like I don't think there's ghosts in the world, but I mean, I do understand the concept of like the afterlife and spirits and all that. But at least you still like one thing I will if you gotta stand for something or you'll fall for anything. So I mean at least you stand tall in your convictions and you speak your truth, whatever that is. And if people like it, great. If people don't like it, that's also great. You know?
well, I mean, but I had to learn everything the hard way. It's not like anybody spoon fed me anything. I was just as brainwashed as everybody else. And I sat around
Mm-hmm.
praying like a dummy, thinking that somebody else was going to fix my problems, and it never worked. So,
Right. But it can but can't thinking that like not thinking I won't say thinking the way you think, but it must be lonely because it's not necessarily a popular ideology. And once you start talking about it on a global platform like YouTube, you're gonna get a lot of people tussling.
no, I mean, once they figure out that I'm, different, they're just not going to be interested. So, um, even within the anti-natalist community, it's like I shook things up because I wasn't vegan. It's like I'm not going to be a follower, no matter what, you know, box you try to put me in. I'm going to diverge from everybody else. I'm not a I'm not one of those sheeple. Like you can't control me.
But do you diverse? Because I mean, I know this is frivolous. What I'm about to say, it's not the same. But those people who say like, "Oh, ugh, I don't like Beyonce." Like, do you truly not be like Beyonce, or do you just say that because you don't want to be like everybody else? And I'm just using that analogy for you. Like, do you truly not believe? Do you truly not believe what other people think, or just because you don't want to be with the popular crowd, or do you? truly, or do you truly believe that you're, you're your own independent thinker? Because I do feel like some people just want to be edgy.
I think that you can't really know your true self unless you spend time in isolation. I think if you're constantly surrounded by other people and you never have time to think for yourself, then
Hmm.
you probably are just being contrarian. But I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time thinking. I'm not really
Okay.
influenced by anybody else. I don't watch a lot of television. I mean, I read, I watch some like you know,
YouTube.
philosophical videos on YouTube. I don't listen like the shit that people watch this for entertainment value. I may watch it if I'm trying to like do a response video or something, but I really prefer content that I'm going to, learn something from. So I
Same. Yeah. I do. I love watching. I even watch people that I do not align politically with at all. Cause I just, as much, like, for instance, like, I don't know if you know him, but I watch Ben Shapiro. Me and him will never ever agree on anything. Anything. But I feel like I watch him to let me know, okay, yeah, I'm doing the right thing over here on this progressive side because he's delusional. But like, so I like to see different people's perspective. I don't just eat everything. Even like me, I be going back and forth, but my liberal girlies, because sometimes I'm like, y'all are not consistent. Y'all are fake woke. Y'all pick and choose the same like the conservatives. So I'm not like, I don't just eat it up and agree with any and everything. I push back about a lot of things when it comes to liberalism because I also believe like, yes, we want change, but that's not going to happen tomorrow. So what can we do today?
no, people
You
don't
know?
want change. I mean, they don't want to do anything. They want somebody else to fix all their problems, but they don't want to get
Yep.
involved. They don't want to get their hands
That's true.
dirty. They don't want to protest. They don't want to come up with any solutions. They just
Nope.
want to sit back complaining.
And complain. I agree with that. A whole bunch of complaints for no fucking solutions. I always say that. Always. I'm like, no solutions, but you got so much to say. So I agree. I definitely agree. Cause that's my thing. Cause we can talk about issues all day long. Any of y'all got any suggestions? Even if they're out of this world, something we can, and then we can, culminate out and, oh, maybe that's a little outlandish, or maybe that's not really feasible right now. We'll get back to that. But if you don't have any suggestions, nothing, you just got complaints about everything. Yeah, no, I don't got
Well,
time for
and
you.
even like the Democrats, they don't have any solutions. What people don't know, and they don't support the Green Party, but they don't realize that a lot of the ideas that come from the Democratic Party are really watered down versions of policies from the Green Party. A lot of stuff, the student loan debt cancellation, um, God, a lot of the stuff that came about recently, the Green New Deal, that shit came from the Green Party. They don't even realize that. See, they're always getting some derivative information. It's like, why don't you go straight to the source?
Well, it has to be because we do live in our two parties, so it has to be palatable of some kind.
No, but why? If
Because
no, okay, but you're getting the watered down version. It's like you wanted Medicare for all, but you settled with
palatable.
some bullshit. Why didn't you just support the candidate who actually represented your values? Because you don't care about actual solutions. You care about bullshit. You care that Obama is charismatic. You care that Hillary Clinton is a woman. You clear.
Well, I mean, because we have to be real. I feel like you are not sometimes realistic in where we are in the moment. Because yes, you can find technically you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. But if we live in a two-party system, it will like, and I know that you don't like to hear this because it's a little, that's the problem, but for as of long as the presidency has existed, only two parties have made it. There's never been like an independent party ever been even in the lead or even in the race, really. So, like, what do you do with that? What are we supposed to do with that
No, you don't. But you're only
information?
looking at America. You're not looking at the like democracies across the world.
That's where I live.
No, but
America.
if it happened in Europe, okay, okay, America technically is the first Republican form of government.
Right.
But at the same time, there are similar governments around the world where they had a two-party
Right.
system, and then they, even in Britain, it's like they have a Labor Party and then, a Conservative Party. Even in America, we had the Whig Party before the Democratic Party, and so that, okay, even within the two-party system, okay, let me just confine it to the two-party system. There have been major shifts within the two-party system. That before the 1960s, the Republicans were considered the liberal party, and the Democrats were the conservatives.
Right.
And even there's been
Right.
a shift recently with the Trump, with the Republican Party because of Trump. So what I'm saying is that the people on the fringes are the ones who really make the change. If you look at the politicians, the votes that they really want are the independents and the people who aren't registered. The people who are already committed to either party, they don't care about you because they take you for granted. They think you're going to vote Democrat anyway. They want my vote because I'm not a part of the two-party system.
But are there, and this is no shade, but are there enough of
There
you?
are. I mean, this is the only way they're going to win elections. Most people don't vote. Most people are not even registered to vote. So they want us. They need us. I mean, okay, even when you look at the Democrats, blacks are not the majority in America, but in a state like South Carolina, they're the most influential voting bloc. So, I mean, right now the voting bloc is Latinos, but at the same time, that's they're more concerned with the future, not right now, because a lot of them, are not. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I mean, you probably know what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, it's not about right now. It's about the future. Who's going to carry a political party down the road? And they are trying to secure the vote in the future because they know if they get the Latino vote, then they're going to win elections ad infinitum. So, yeah, you have to. I mean, you're the one who said you were progressive, right? So being progressive is about change. It's not about maintaining the status quo. So even if it's a slow change, you need to be on the path towards making some, impact, meaningful impact that is actually going to progress us forward. So I mean, I don't use the word progressive, but you have to be radical in order to swing the pendulum. You can't be moderate or conservative because you start out with an extreme demand that is on a fringe, and then you're not going to get everything you want, but they're going to meet you somewhere in the middle. But if you start out on a low end anyway, they're not going to even nudge.
I like to use this analogy, and people say, "Oh, you're just settling," but if I need to clean the bathroom and I have, I don't know, Comet, and then or bleach, but I don't really like either one, I'm not gonna not clean the bathroom. I'm gonna use whatever is available to me at the time. And some people might view that as like, oh, the lesser of two evils. Oh, you're just picking. But it's like,
No,
you shit still has to get done. The bathroom still got to get cleaned. Life still moves on. So you're like, oh well, you can't, you have to, I have to pick something, stand for something. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna pick something that's actually gonna work. I'm not just gonna abandon it
in most states,
altogether.
the vote is already decided anyway. Most states are blue or red, so whether your
Yes.
individual vote is not going to
Well,
change
Georgia
anything.
did
What
swing last time. Georgia
what
did swing.
your vote would do if you voted for a Green Party or a Libertarian or whoever, what that would do is create more competition, so they have to earn your vote. It's not like
Okay.
people who voted for Jill Stein put Trump in office. No. Um, what it is it's a rejection of Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is conservative, but she's running as a Democrat. So it's like, we didn't want Hillary Clinton. You didn't give us Bernie Sanders, so we're not going to support her. You're not going to force us to vote for candidates we don't like.
Okay, well, no, then that's fair. But when Trump starts doing what he does, don't be complaining. Don't be talking about no that. Then you got to eat. Then you got to stand in
But
your vote.
I didn't vote for Trump, and I didn't vote for Hillary either.
No, I know that, but people want the best. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to say, "Oh, Trump, Trump, Trump," but you didn't vote for Hillary.
I don't think Trump was a bad president, except for the Supreme Court appointments overturning Roe v. Wade. I think overall he didn't get us into any new wars. He was more supportive of same-sex equality than Hillary Clinton and Obama and Joe Biden. He supported same-sex marriage way before any of them. There was one policy that he did, which I'm not even going to address. I think I talked about it before with Craigslist and shit. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But
girl, because you already know.
Yeah. They changed that shit.
You already know
because straight women came in and they were getting violated, and so that just completely.
Yeah, but you didn't vote. Yeah, but you didn't vote for Trump, and there's a reason why.
No, because I liked what he said. His campaign promises seemed solid. The problem is that I wasn't sure if I could trust him. So I was like, okay, I do like the nationalism stuff, putting Americans first, but is he the real deal? And I was like, no,
But also,
no,
girl,
I'm voting for Jill Stein because he's full of shit, and I'm glad I did.
Do you think he was talking about you, girl? Do you, when he said putting Americans first, do you think he was talking about your black ass? No shade. I'm just being true.
I do.
I don't
think
know
if you're
you were
no, because
in his mind.
There's a difference between racism and nationalism, and people like there's white nationalism, right? But then it's like the American exceptionalism that you think that first of all, it doesn't even matter that you have some ideology that Americans are better than the rest of the world. The role of Congress is to represent the will of the American people. They're put in power for the American people, and it's like the American people are like the redhead stepchildren, and the rest of the world seems to take precedence. It's like we're the sacrificial animals that take care of the rest of the world while neglecting the people at home.
Yeah, but to be fair, we're also the country with the most power and the most resources.
No, I mean that may be true, but with the economy being the way that it is and the erosion or the degradation of the US dollar, that's about to come to a screeching halt. A lot of countries are dropping the US dollar.
Really?
Yeah, they've been talking. They really are only talk about it on Fox News, but once the US dollar is not the world currency, then we're fucked.
Because yes, I do agree that we should help ourselves, but I also feel like it's giving like when that saying Kim, people are dying. Like, yes, America, we have our issues here, but I do feel like there are people in other parts of the world who have it 10 times as
No,
worse.
but we're bringing immigrants to America and putting them up in hotels while there's homeless veterans who receive no support whatsoever.
So it sounds like that sounds like grievance politics to me.
No, because they want that voting block. They already know that blacks and people in New York are going to vote Democrat. They need more. They need more immigrants. That's the growing voting block. So it's not like they actually care about those immigrants. They just want their votes. And they're more socialist. Those people are more likely to support government tyranny or an authoritarian regime. They like that shit. They like the government having complete control over your lives. and they don't care because they're in their own little world with their families, throwing their parties and shit, have a whole bunch of babies. They procreate at a rate that far exceeds the rate of, I don't want to say native. That's what Ann calls it. She calls us native. Um, Whatever.
Oh, not Ann Coulter. Oh, she is. Oh, she get on my nerves. Woo! Not quoting Ann Coulter. Oh my goodness. You're really full of
No, I listen to
surprises, I tell
everybody.
you. Ann Coulter?
She's on point when it comes to immigration. The policies that Trump promised, it was based on her book, Adios America, and then so he basically just took her book and came up with a platform off of it, and then didn't deliver on any of it.
Okay.
I mean, I think she's full of shit on a whole bunch of other things, and yeah, and I thought that she was just a nationalist because I was like, oh yeah, I agree with you on that, but no, she's a white nationalist. She, I mean, I listen to her channel.
That's what I'm telling you, like, this stuff, they're not thinking about our black asses. I mean, we'll maybe allow, like, the black conservative, okay, yeah, you can come to the cookout when we need you to vote. But when it comes to who is prioritized, trust and believe it's not our black
No,
asses.
but
I'm
you
so
can tell a
sorry.
difference when they're white now. Like what she'll say is she'll talk about how white men built America and white men are so great, and the rest of the
Yeah, but
world
then
would
she'll
not.
say like, "Oh, well, slavery
Well,
was
no, no, but
wrong,
she
and black
okay.
people did build the White House." Like, she'll say stuff like little pandering things like that, and
No,
I'm
but
like,
even like with the
"Girl."
Israeli Gaza situation, she refers to the Palestinians as savages because they don't have advanced technology. That's what I was trying to tell. That whole point about technology
Mhm.
being a good thing. It's not. It has a corrupting influence. It's
But that's everything. Anything can be exploited. Anything can be corrupt. I
No, but
mean,
it allows
that's
them to
just
spy on you. That's why they have cameras everywhere, and they you have a social security number that follows you everywhere. You can't get rid of your debt. You can't just pick up if you do something in one town. You can't just pick up and move and start over. It's like no, we're
should you be able to?
that's the way it used to be back in the day. That like if you were the town slut, you could just pick up and move someplace else, and nobody would know about your past history, and you could have a clean slate. You can't do that anymore. Your reputation follows you everywhere.
Yeah, but
Well, no, the FBA people need to hear what I said about reparations. Like, fuck the money. We don't need the money. We need some sovereignty. Those are that's what they need to hear. But they're not going to listen to that shit because the reason why they don't care about that is because they want money so they can siphon it for themselves. They don't really care about repairing the black community. They're full of shit. They want the money for themselves.
are you talking about the African
He's
American what is it called? Descendants of African
AD,
American slaves, those
ADOS, but he's
people?
talking about
Yes.
foundational
Oh, I
black
cannot.
Americans.
Oh, girl, I cannot stand. I was in a Twitter Spaces with them a few months ago, and you would have thought they were white Ku Klux Klan members. The way they were speaking about black immigrants, I said, "Oh, this is not my people. These are not my people at all." I was like, "Y'all sound like racist white folks the way y'all talking about these Africans and Dominicans and Haitians. Like, what is going on?"
Okay, but this is the thing also
Um,
to respond to this comment right here. They talk about how immigrants take the jobs that Americans don't want. No, they don't. I mean, maybe they do to some extent, but they're also taking jobs that we do want. They are running for office. There's an immigrant right now on the young Jake
but what's wrong with
Ugar.
that? I don't understand
He's
what's
running for
wrong with that.
president. He's trying to change the requirements so that if you're an immigrant, you can run for president. And it's like that's never going to happen.
I don't know about
But
that one. I don't know
but
about
what do
that
you
one.
mean they're only taking the jobs that we don't want? No, they're locked. There's lawyers, there's doctors, they're businessmen. Uh,
Yeah, but isn't that the American dream? What's wrong with an immigrant coming to this country the quote unquote right way and ascending and upward mobility. White people do it every
No, because
day.
they do it.
So
They
what's
do
the
it on the
problem?
backs of black people because they come to the black community, starting their little mom and pop shop, selling us batteries for $8 and overpriced. Um, I don't know,
And when you
overpriced
are
bullshit
you
like
talking about
electronics
African
and shit.
Americans
And then as soon as they
specifically?
get money to put their children through college, then they move out the black community, and then they look down on the black community, and then they become the deferred minorities. Like it's like Indians. It's like they have dark skin, but they're not black people. So
Yes.
we'll even right now. What's that woman's name? Gosh, I can't think of her name. The woman who, gosh,
Which what would she do? What does she do? I don't know
the
who you're
one who's
talking
running for
about.
president.
I feel like I saw that.
No,
What is she? Asian?
no, she's Indian.
Indian?
I can't. Gosh, why can't I think of her damn name? Nikki
Let's
Haley.
see.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
So
Nikki
she. So they're going to choose her, and because she's a minority. Even.
I mean, they did it for Obama, so what's the
But that's the
problem?
same thing, though. Obama.
Oh, her?
Oh,
Oh no, she can't be
Obama is not
president.
a descendant of slaves.
Yes, his
No, his
dad
dad
was.
is
Yeah, what are you
Kenyan. His
talking
dad
about?
is an immigrant. So his American side is
His mother.
Irish or whatever the hell she was, and then
She's Indian? Oh, I thought she
no,
was white.
that's what I'm trying to say. She looks white. Okay, Indians are technically Caucasian anyway. So
Indians are technically
no, but
Asian.
no. Indians are Caucasian. They're not Mongoloids. There's three races. There's Mongoloids, Negroids, and Caucasoids.
When I'm saying Indian, you're talking the people from India and not Native Americans,
I'm talking,
right?
yeah, from India. Those are the people that migrated to Europe and then they became European. So she's basically a less
She's like a white. I guess she's a white Indian because girl,
well, you look at her
I
parents
don't
though. Her
see no
parents
Indian
are darker,
dark skin.
but
Yeah, I
she's
was like, I see
passable.
her clips go viral because she's racist. Her clips go viral all the time, and I'm like, girl, you don't be making no sense.
But she's a
Um,
minority, so she gets to play the whole I'm Indian, but she gets to, say the shit that somebody else wouldn't get away with.
okay, I see her. Oh yeah, she definitely is like a white Indian. Oh yeah, she. And I don't usually see like white Indians, particularly in the U.S. But like, yeah, she definitely is a light skin. Like on a good day, oh honey, she could be right at the KKK. And she ate that. Oh, she ate that, and she looks like, oh yes, honey. She looks like your everyday white girl, just brunette. But I see her parents. Her parents are definitely from India. Um, that she ate that, and she probably picks and chooses when she's probably Indian today and white
But
tomorrow.
Indians are Caucasian anyway, so even if they do have darker skin, they still have the same skull shape and the
I mean,
same
they're
bone
not
structure
Indians are
as a
not.
European. Like it's the same race.
Yeah, but they're
Even
not.
a
Yeah,
dark
but they're not.
so-called
They're
black
not
Indian,
white. Come on
they're
now.
Caucasian. They are. They have the same bone structure.
No, but we understand that just because you have dark skin doesn't mean you're gonna have black
No, but
features. We should know
that's the
that.
problem. That race is not based on skin tone; it's based on skull shape. That's how they made those characterizations.
Well,
So this because
right, but
somebody has
we
dark, it
also
doesn't mean that they're Negro.
no, I agree. But we assume because we like to live in a binary of black and white. But there are plenty of Asians who, and they don't even get the same privileges as white people. But because anti-blackness is the link, yes, I agree that a lot of Asians, and particularly East Asians, they do get to, they get to model minority up the food chain. But they're still not white. Like I won't give them all that. But there is a I'm not black, so I get to step on you too. I agree with that for sure, because a lot of non-black people of color invest heavily in mono minority, and I may not be white, but bitch, I'm not black either. So, but she is a very, very particular case because most people who are Indian don't look like her. Like Mindy Kaling, what's her name? That girl on Mindy Kaling, she don't pass as white. She's Indian, and she gets treated as such, and she's dark skinned. We need land. Black Americans need segregation, not the cash. That's just a part of it. I don't know. I don't know why black people always talking about, oh, segregation was the worst thing that happened to us.
No, it's not segregation. They say integration was the worst thing.
Oh yeah, which I think is such a dumb thing to say, because prior to segregation, it wasn't about having what the white people quote unquote had. They had good things, valuable things. We didn't have anything of equal or value. The shit was
No,
trash. It was
no,
garbage. So we had to
we had
integrate.
Black Wall Street, but that was burnt down, and we would have like schools and the whole thing. The problem.
But what? But the schools were shitty, underfunded.
No,
So
that's after everything was torn down. But okay, so what I'm talking about is right after slavery.
mhm.
There were before Jim Crow, there were thriving, wealthy black communities all across America. Um, and now there's nothing. It's like we don't own anything. And even though there are like black billionaires and whatever,
Those are one in a few,
there's
yeah.
no actual communities. There's no ownership of anything. We don't own shit. We don't own
Mhm.
banks. We don't own schools. We don't own hospitals. I mean,
Right. Did you see that? I think it was back in the day. I mean, like not in the day in COVID, when there was that effort to buy everything black, and nobody could do it because like everything is owned by white people, literally. Like if you like not like to buy or to support your everyday life, buy in or support black business only. It's damn near impossible.
but I just look at it the same way the Native Americans do it. Like they have their reservations, they have their casinos. People go there for specific things because, like, when I was in Oklahoma, there gambling was illegal. So if you wanted to gamble, you had to go on a reservation. So whatever money the Indians made stayed within their community. So to give black people reparations and they're still integrated within the same system, it's not going to it's going to go right back into the same system, and it's not going to do anything to change anybody's situation. So you need sovereignty first. You need to get out of this bullshit legal system where the states, again, it's not the federal government that's controlling it's the states. If we can get away from the states, then we can rebuild something and not have the restraints of occupational licenses and zoning restrictions and permits and all that bullshit that's going to, rack up the cost of building anything. It's the government. Again, it's not the states. I mean, it's not the federal government. It's the states. So that's the reason why sovereignty is so important, because I don't want to be controlled by the damn state. And I don't know why nobody else is saying this shit, but I looked up and I researched Indian reservations and their like tribal sovereignty and shit. Um, and that's the only reason that the Native Americans are able to thrive, because they have sovereignty. They're not subject to the laws of the state.
But wasn't that given to them because of the Native American genocide? Like it wasn't like they got that because of what, colonization did to them, if I'm not mistaken. Like they were given, even when I applied to jobs and stuff, it'll say like, "Oh, are you of a native descent?" And like you get some perks with being considered native. Not perks, but like, things that I guess you get or whatever, because it's such a underrepresented community of people.
I think it's actually overrepresented. Everybody claims to be Native American. It's like you got uh,
No, I mean, I'm not talking about people who don't want to be black, and so they talking about their West Indian Cherokee. I'm
no
talking
white
about
people too.
like,
White people are claiming
oh
to be
yeah,
Pocahontas,
but
like Elizabeth Warren.
oh my goodness, Elizabeth Word. But I mean, like full blood, not 1%, full blood Native American people. Like even like, and I know you probably like, I don't give a fuck about that, but like the Oscars made history this year because they nominated that lady, and she was the first not Indian, Native American woman from the U.S. to be nominated. Like we don't really see a lot of Native Americans in popular media, culture, TV, outside of caricatures and stuff like that. We just don't really see that. I wouldn't consider them overpopulated. I do think they're culturally appropriated, of course. Oh yes, when Halloween comes, everybody want to be Pocahontas, and um, everyone's 1/4 Native American. Oh, my great grandmother was, Cherokee Indian, but like I'm talking about true, authentic representation of Native American people, culture, customs. You don't typically see that in.
Well, that's probably because the pure Native Americans are on reservations. So once they
Yeah.
assimilate into the American culture, it's going to be hard to identify them.
Well, I mean, why would they assimilate? They would still look Native
No, because they're
American.
going to intermarry. They're going to, I mean, when I was in law
Okay.
school, I had a professor who taught Native American law, and he
Oh,
was
really?
Native American, but I couldn't tell.
He looked
He
white.
looked white to me. He was like, "Oh, I'm Native American." I'm like,
Okay.
Okay."
Right, you could have fooled me. Yeah, there's some white people who are like, I'm like, you're native? You don't look native at all. Like, you don't even look mixed. Like, you can tell when someone's like, okay, you got a little something in you. Like, you look white, full blown Caucasian. But that's what happens when, either mixed or just colonization.
Well, I just think the discussion is completely going in the wrong direction. Like, it's not about money. Like, I just don't think that people realize
Really?
how subjugated they actually are. And so, if we were to get sovereignty and be free from the state, I wouldn't be so miserable. I would love to have some land
Mhm.
where I can drive and not get pulled over by some damn road pirate, and have immunity and not have to follow the state laws. I don't need permission from the state to pull the plug. Um, the state is so tyrannical. It's so fucked up. I want to opt out of this shit. And if I can't opt out, then yeah, it's one way or another. There's no way. There's no way I'm going to die of old age. There's no fucking way.
Old
I'm not going
age.
to die a
Jeez.
natural death. There's no way that's going to happen.
Do you not want to?
Absolutely not. I don't even want to be here. Okay, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want the police showing up at my door arresting me for expressing my private thoughts.
Oh, but okay, that's one thing I wanted to push back because like you can't say stuff like even like we canonically we say like when I'm gonna kill you. People take that serious. And you can't be like, oh, it was
It's
just a
not a
joke.
joke
Oh,
though. If
was
I say
oh
it,
it's
I'm
hyper.
serious, but I can't say it
Yeah, because there's consequences for you
because
just
I
saying
don't own my own life. That's the reason why.
that. Like,
Because I'm a
come
fucking
on.
slave.
I don't so do you think it's slave and I'm assuming you're being
No, I'm not being
hyperbolic.
hyperbolic. I used the case law from Plessy versus Ferguson, and I don't know if
Mhm.
you listened to that live stream. I laid out the legal definition of a slave. I forget, but it's like the absence of the legal right to the disposal of the person, property, or services. And it's like we don't have the right to either. We can't dispose of our person, our property, or services without permission from the damn government. So based on a legal definition of slavery, yes, I am an abject slave. We all are slaves.
I think that's a
No,
little
it's not.
much,
No. I'm
girl.
not being like emotional. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being technical of what the technical version of a slave is. That you can't even work without a damn occupational license. You don't have the right to die.
But do you think that's a disservice? It's not to people who were actually slaves and owned by white people, particularly white men, and whipped
Well,
and
that's a different
chains.
type of
Do you
slavery.
think
It's chattel slavery. Um, where where
right? But
at the very least we're
that's like
indentured servants. Okay, but I'm not even going to. I'm just saying the fact that we don't own our own lives, and to
okay.
me, the labor part of it is ancillary. The main thing is that we don't own our own lives. So if you don't own your own life, and you can't even sell your body, if you wanted to prostitute yourself, if you wanted to take drugs, you can't do that. The government is going to have a say in what you do with your own damn body.
I don't know about the prostitution and the
So are you
drugs,
saying
girl.
that it's not a crime in every state in America to sell your body for sex?
No. That is a crime. I don't know if,
Are
but
you
I'm,
saying that? What about
but
drugs? That's not a crime.
so you want to be able to to
I want
shoot
people to be able to
cocaine
do what they want
and
with their own bodies, so long as they're not harming anybody else.
girl, there has to be a cutoff. There
Why?
has to be. I'm
Why?
sorry. There
Why?
has to be some type of cutoff. You
Why?
cannot shoot up heroin in your house and think that that's just gonna
Why?
be
Who am I
okay.
harming? Who? If I want to shoot cocaine, who am I harming? If it's my body, why can't I do it?
Because it's
It's
harmful,
harmful to
I
whom?
guess. Cocaine is a hard drug, girl.
But
Come
who
on,
is it
like you're.
harmful to?
This is why I have to be. This is why I leave the train with you, girl. Because it's like there's like it's very like all like it's just everything all at
Unless you're
once.
harming
Like there's
somebody
no
else, it
boundary.
shouldn't be a crime. That's the whole purpose of government. You have to go back to what is the original purpose of government. The purpose of government is to protect other people's rights, their individual rights. So if I'm harming you, that is a legitimate purpose of government. But it goes far beyond that. It just basically enslaves you and tells you either even if you're not harming anybody else, you can't do. They're trying to control you like you're a damn child. Like if I'm miserable and the only way that I can get through the day is to snort some damn cocaine, that should be my fucking right. And I have no desire to do cocaine, by the way. But if I wanted to, I should reserve that right.
Mm.
I should need a prescription for shit. I shouldn't have to go to a damn doctor and get some damn health care for some shit that should be sold in the fucking free market. I shouldn't need to get a prescription for
But see, you have to get a. What's your actual name?
why would I tell you that?
Like your first. You don't know your. Okay,
Are
fine.
you
That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm listen. I'm taking a risk by even showing my damn face. I'm all over the fucking internet. There's so much shit written about me for all my damn lawsuits. I shouldn't even be on the fucking internet, but I'm taking a risk because
You're not. There has to be a prescription because like you really are an
that's what I'm trying to
anarchist.
say. People think that I'm just
Like
saying
you
it
really
for
are. Like there's no like you must really love the purge, like that whole concept. Because like there's no order, there's nothing. Everything is just
based on consent.
it's
So, for example, like I said during the live stream, or like when I was in the military, I didn't feel oppressed because it was based on consent. We had order. We lived on a military base. They controlled everything we did, but it was based on consent. Um, I got 3 meals a day.
the
I got health
military
care. I
based
got
on
clothes. I got
consent.
uniforms. I didn't feel oppressed at all. You can have a society like that that is completely controlled, but it's still based on consent. So, yeah,
Okay, so when you say based on consent of the military, because the military, they damn near own you. Like they tell you what to do, when
But
to
I
do
chose to
it,
do it.
how
I
to do
signed
it,
the
and I thought you
contract.
didn't like
I
that.
signed the contract. So I knew what I was getting into and I agreed to do it. So that was my obligation.
Okay, well then you have to apply that logic when you go inside the VA and you sign the contract. You understand what they're supposed to and to not do. So if you go tell them that you wanna, you know what yourself, you should know what happens
No,
after
no,
that,
that's not the
right?
same thing. First,
Oh, it doesn't work that way,
no,
huh?
because first of all, that
Oh, you don't
person
like
did
that way,
not
huh?
know that if he told them he was going to be reported. That was some.
Everybody everybody
He
knows
didn't
that.
know that.
That's
That's
like
why.
that's
Did you
therapy
watch the
101.
video when he was surprised that they showed up and he's like, "I didn't say that." They took his words out of context and
So did he not say that,
he's
or
saying
did
he didn't.
he not
No, no, no,
mean
no. He
that?
didn't
There's a
say it,
difference.
but it's like if I would have said the things that I'm saying, a lot of people would take that out of context and say, "Oh, I want to delete myself." No. What I'm saying is, I wish I was never born. I don't want to be here under this
But
oppressive
you say
bullshit.
it's not hyperbolic though. So
For
that's
me,
where it's
it's
like
not.
you're
For
not
me, it's
kidding.
okay. Okay, let me answer your question. It's not hyperbolic because if I actually had the right to delete myself, if I had the option of euthanasia,
Right.
I would actually take it. But that doesn't mean that I'm
Okay.
going to do it to myself. So just because I say, "Oh, I want the right to physician assistance," that doesn't mean I'm going to blow out my own brains. It's not the same thing.
I guess.
I'm
I
listen.
guess.
I've wanted to do it for well over 20 years, and I haven't done shit. I wanted to do this shit
Okay, but
since I was at least 8 years old, and I haven't done it. So I
okay, how do you so because and you had said like a few minutes ago, you don't think you should be able to get you think you should be able to get the medicine that you want without a prescription. How would that work? How does that
the
work?
way that
You
it
need a
worked
prescription because you're
the
not a
way that it
doctor.
worked before they imposed these government monopolies that people sold drugs in a free market, and you didn't need a prescription. That's what the way things are now is not the way that things always were. There was a time before the government did not control everything.
So you think I should be, as a person without a medical degree, not a thing that I should be able to go and go get opiates with no doctor signage, nothing. I should just be able to go get that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And
Woo!
wait. But the restriction is the free market itself. So everybody would not have access to that because the cost would be a natural limitation. Um, Everyone would not be able to afford opioids. Um, and so yeah, that's the limitation. It's built in. You can't just go buy stuff willy nilly if you can't afford it. The same way with weapons, anybody can't just buy weapons because everybody can't afford it. So you would have to be of sound mind to have wealth to go buy those weapons or to buy those drugs. It's a natural limitation. You don't need government imposed monopolies.
Hmm.
You have to go back and read
Wow.
you have to study up on anarchy. Like it's so different from the way that we're taught. It's you don't need the government control.
Yeah, like I know anarchy is like literally no, like was not a democracy. Like there's no checks and balances. It is a very like it's very like it takes a
No,
village
a village,
instead of
a
like
consensual village. That I chose to be a
right, a
member of that
consensual
village
village.
and I agreed to follow their
Right,
rules, not some shit but based on
right,
force.
right. But it's just that's just like it's funny because like I love the concept of like the purge. I watched the series and I'm like, I wonder if we could do that in real life. And most people are like, hell no. They say hell no. Because it's just so out there, like no rules, no law. What would people do if there was no laws, if there was no rules, if there's no police informant, which we saw in that franchise that most people just didn't do anything. They just lived their life. But
No,
that's not what they wanted. They
okay.
wanted to prove that they
I'm
they
going to
were
have to
savages.
address those things because I know a lot of people have similar concerns that they think that without
Mhm.
force, there's going to be chaos. And it's like, no, that's not. Most, like I said, most indigenous cultures were anarchistic. So
Mhm.
I don't know why people are assuming that they need the government controlling whether they eat, sleep, or shit. Um, or we're just going to, I don't know, have
Right.
violence in the streets, and that's not true. That's not true. The violence
Well,
comes from
mm,
the government. The government
mm,
that's the moving force behind the violence. That's what causes everybody to
that
be
reminds
degenerate in the first place.
that reminds me of the concept that people always say that Batman, Gotham will always be what it is until Batman dies, literally, because he's a billionaire. And I was like, really? Like, and like that concept of like, it's not the people aren't bad, it's the system that they live in is bad, kind of thing. And that it'll always be that way.
It
But
corrupts you.
it's just so hard to like think out of the way that we're taught.
Well, okay, but this is okay. This is why I go back to Jean Jacques Rousseau because Jean Jacques Rousseau looked, and he was French. He was looking at the people
Hmm.
within the French society. They were looking down on the so-called savages, um,
Right.
specifically the Native Americans. But he
Hmm.
studied them and he saw that they actually had order. They didn't have a centralized government, but they had order. They had voluntary cooperation because it's not based on force. It's based on the fact that you have a natural empathy for your community. So you don't want to harm because there's social consequences for harming a member. We don't have any community. Everybody's so isolated. The only consequence is being thrown in the cage. But you don't give it. People
Right.
don't give a shit about their community because they're not a part of it. Um, if you stole from your neighbor, you would not suffer any
Well, you know,
social
in other
consequence for
countries,
that.
you do that. Yeah, but in other countries, shit, you steal from your neighbor, you get your hands cut off. Do you think that's appropriate? Like, there has to be, because we are dealing with humans. Humans are not always sound minded, even with the greatest intentions. People are mean,
Okay,
shady, evil, bad.
but
Like,
but if human beings are so malevolent, why are they continue to procreate? That I mean, the whole thing makes no sense. Why are you breeding evil into existence if this is what you think human beings actually are?
I think because just like good, evil's considered like inevitable. Like, it's just a part of being human, and that's why we have law and order to quote unquote regulate
No,
and
no,
keep.
because the laws are not even for our benefit; it's for their benefit. It's like it's a trap. Like you
Yeah, like you're damned
you
if you do,
you
damned if you
violate the
don't.
law and now you get put in the system. Now you're going to be slave labor. Now the government has complete control of your life. Now you're in probation. You have to pay a fee every month and be monitored like a slave by your probation officer. Um,
Yeah, but then what if? But then some people say, well, then just don't break the law.
no, okay.
Okay, okay, I got
No,
your
no, no.
tone.
It
No,
doesn't.
I'm kidding.
No, no, no. The problem is that you can create so many laws that it's impossible to not break the law. They criminal.
I've never been
Okay, have you
arrested
ever been
ever.
pulled over for speeding? You've never
No,
been pulled over
not
for
yet.
speeding in your entire life.
No, but I have gotten a ticket,
A
but I've
ticket
never
for
gotten
what?
it. I've never been pulled illegal
Okay, so
punishment.
you violated the law. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody
Okay,
has violated the law. That's there's so many laws on the book. It's impossible to not be a criminal.
but getting a parking ticket is not the same thing as being a murderer. Come on now.
It's a misdemeanor and then a murder is a felony, but you're still a criminal according to the law.
I'm not a criminal.
No,
I don't know about that one.
If you parked illegally, that makes you a criminal.
A criminal.
Did you plead guilt? Did you fight it? Were you
No, I paid the $25 ticket.
So no contest means that you're guilty. So you have been convicted of.
You have an answer. You have an answer for everything, don't you?
Well, you asked the question, so yeah, I can answer it. You are legally you're a criminal because you did something that was against the law. Everybody is a criminal.
That's funny. That is funny. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a criminal, but have I committed a crime?
That's what a criminal is.
I haven't been, but I feel like a crime, like you have to be sentenced.
No, you pled no contest, so that means that you are found guilty.
Okay.
It's I mean, that's Ayn Rand explained it. They create so many laws that everybody is a criminal. So you can be it's a crime to jaywalk. It's a crime to litter. It's a crime to if your emissions are too high. It's a crime that your toilet isn't energy conserved enough. Everything is a damn crime. It's just a matter of did you get caught?
So you don't think there's like a hierarchy, girl? Come on now. You think all crime is created equal?
I think that if I have to be held into court for going, 10 miles over the speed limit, and I'm going to. Okay, here's the whole thing. Everybody, you just don't see it because most people just go along with it. They just go in and pay the fine and whatever. But if you don't pay it, you're going to have to go. Okay, for that one ticket, if you didn't pay it, you would have had to go on to a trial, just like the damn murderer, and it would have been the same exact process.
Okay, and is that a problem?
No, it's the same. What I'm saying is the same process. You're still a criminal. Like they don't make a real distinction between you and a murderer. They're saying if you went over the speed limit or if you parked illegally, you have to stand trial, or it's the same damn thing.
Okay. Right, same principle. Okay. But you're saying like you don't like that system. So like in your world of anarchy, let's say you do commit a murder. How does that work? How do you litigate that? How do you convict somebody? Like, what do you do? You're gonna get the elders.
No. See, I don't see. That's the problem. Murder is prosecuting a murder is a legitimate. It's within the legitimate scope of government. The government is supposed to protect life, liberty, and property. So, if they were to prosecute somebody for murder, that's one thing. But regulating and controlling every little minute detail of my life, whether I can delete myself, whether I take drugs, that is not within a proper scope of government. That's excessive. That's not protecting my individual rights. So they are supposed to take.
So you think you should be able to? Because I thought, as long as you're not hurting yourself, like if you're taking drugs, you're gonna hurt yourself, right?
But I have a right to hurt myself. It's my body, right?
But couldn't you be a danger to somebody else? What do you say about that?
Then prosecute me for that. But you can't prosecute me for harming myself. It's my life. I should be able to do what I want. That's what that whole.
Oh, so we have to wait, and so you just strung up on heroin. We can't arrest you. We just have to wait for you to get in your car and you hit somebody, and then we can arrest you.
Yeah, that's the whole doctrine of corpus delicti. There has to be an actual crime. There has to be an actual victim. You can't prosecute people preemptively to say, oh, well, I thought I mean, that's probable cause is based on it has to be more than mere suspicion. Um
Right.
a crime that
Because
a
that
crime
on
was
that
going to be
logic,
committed
everything
or
is suspicious.
um
Right.
probable cause requires an articulable belief that a crime has been committed or was going to be committed. So just because you
Right.
think I might have done something or
Doesn't
I was
mean
thinking
right.
about
You
it,
need an actual good.
that's
Right. That's why, like me saying, like the whole, like we say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." Like we say that in hyperbole. That's not necessarily probable cause. Like there has to be some action. Something has to be more than just a thought. Because by that logic, everything would be. I mean, the courts would be filled all day, every day. Well, they already are. But like, if everything was a crime, and or in that regard, everything would count. There would be so many cases. So, but okay, so I get okay. So at least you're not like, oh well, you commit murder, like we'll leave that to the judges.
um okay,
But
but the whole thing is
like,
not about no authority. It's about
mhm,
illegitimate authority, and it's about authority based on consent. Most people would consent to having the government prosecute someone for murder. But the caveat to that is that under common law, it wasn't the state that prosecuted the defendant for murder. It would be the family. The family would okay, before this whole bar association shit, private citizens could actually prosecute criminal cases. So if somebody were to delete your family member, the family could bring criminal charges. Now it's not the family doing it, it's the state, which is so fucked up. So that's the part that I have a problem with is that the state doesn't have standing because the state has not suffered an actual loss.
I think they do that because wouldn't that be a conflict of interest?
It's a conflict
If
of
you killed
interest
my dad,
anyway
you
because
shot my dad. You shot my dad, so now I get to not only sue you, but run your trial. That's crazy.
that's the way it's been since the beginning of you can read the Old Testament. King was it King Solomon? Yeah, they everybody had to stand before the king or the sovereign so that the sovereign could pass judgment on whatever case is brought before him. That's the way it always been. So that's the part that I don't like is the fact that it's a bunch of lawyers speaking on your behalf. Everything is so complicated to where
Well, yeah, because the average person doesn't know the law. The average person
but
doesn't
no, but they
know
made it
the
complicated on
terminology.
purpose. This is not the way laws used to be written in plain English so that everyone understood them. Now it's just these legalese and shit. You got to go to law school and shit for 4 years undergrad
Mm,
and 3 years in actual law school, and then pass a damn fucking arbitrary aptitude test, which has absolutely nothing to do with the practice of law. Yeah,
mhm.
that's why it's so fucked up. But no, I'm not opposed to people being held criminally for their I don't know for
Action.
murder or manslaughter or whatever. It's just I don't think that the state has standing to do it. It should be the family bringing the charges
Mm, interesting. Okay,
because
that's
and even in a
interesting.
lot of indigenous cultures, if you kill somebody, you have to make restitution by repaying the family. You have so like if you took my son, now you're going to be my son. Now you're a part of my family. You have to earn. You have to you just forfeited your life.
Ooh, no, I've heard of that. Ooh, that's old. That's ooh, girl. That's definitely prefer European colonization, honey. Woo! I do remember hearing that, like stuff like that. But that's just so like, ooh, that's out of my warehouse.
Oh,
I'm
you think the
sorry
system that we have
because we're
right
all
now? You
about
think that throwing people in cages and they just become hardened criminals? They don't actually rehabilitate themselves. The recidivism rate is so high that they get out and they just come back. It's like you put an 18-year-old in prison for, I don't know, stealing something. Oh yeah, by the time they come out, they're going to be hardened criminal. They're going to be way worse than they were. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't contribute to society at all. Besides the fact that they're being used for cheap labor. Yeah, they don't ever get.
I mean, if we're saying that theft, it depends, and it's not just stealing. What you stole? Did someone get hurt?
No, I'm not talking about
I
that. I'm
learned,
talking about the fact
all
that they
that
were
stuff.
put in prison in the first place. They don't get rehabilitated.
So okay, so how does prison exist in this anarchist world? Prisons, jails, bars, does that exist anyway? Like, how does that, like, what do you do with the, because remember, we're talking about humans, so what do you do with them? Well, you said the murderers, the drug dealers, the pedophiles, the people who commit fraud and take people's million houses and millions of dollars. Where do you put them at?
I mean, I've already said it. It's based on consent. So I'm not talking about like crimes where there's an actual victim. I'm talking about stuff where there is no victim, and you're just trying to control my life. That's the part I'm talking about. So if there isn't a victim, that isn't a legitimate use of government authority. But you don't have the right to control my life. And just because the majority said that this is what they want, they don't have a right to impose that on me. Now, there's different versions of anarchy. There's a libertarian anarchist, which I guess I am, but there are people who just want to eliminate government altogether. It can be privatized. You can have private militias, eliminate the police. I'm not opposed to that either. I just know the system we have now is bullshit. I know that the police or municipalities are corporations for profit. So yeah, I don't see police as legitimate.
So are you one of those, like, okay, you don't, get rid of the police, but if something was to happen to you tonight, you're gonna call them?
I Here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to
Okay.
say this. No.
Just
Here's
checking.
the answer. I have to pay taxes to them, right? But
Oh,
if you let me keep my money and you give me the option to hire a private militia, I would prefer to pay the private militia because the private militia is actually going to do what I want them to do.
that was a great pageant
No, but that's
answer.
not.
Gordon, now you know damn well you want them police to come knocking on that door and get you the help that you need. It's okay. You're not a bad
No,
person because you want the police
you didn't
help.
catch the. I guess you didn't listen to the whole thing. The last time I got robbed, I called the police officer, and then when I was telling him the story, he stood right in front of me, invading my personal space. And then when I was talking with my hands, he tried to say that I was going to assault him and shit. No, I don't want to deal with you didn't listen to the beginning of the live stream, or maybe you came in later. But even when I had the car accident, they were fucking useless, and they got mad at me.
Yeah, I did hear that something you said. Yeah, you said they blamed you about the car or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't want to deal with them.
I don't know. I never
They
had
don't
that
help. They don't help. They don't do any. They're useless. Okay, but okay, let me answer your question though. It's not the police. If I would want the sheriff. That's the difference. Anarchists respect the authority of the sheriff or anything at the county level. Municipalities, the police, no, they're not legitimate because they're not in law enforcement under the Constitution. Municipalities.
Isn't the sheriff? That's all law
No, it's not. It's
enforcement. The
not the same
sheriff,
thing. It's not the
deputies.
same thing because
It's not.
the police officers they're under a corporation. Those the cities that are incorporated, they're not operating under the Constitution. And when we talk about the laws, we're not talking about all laws. We're talking about the statutory component. The constitutional part is fine. But the codes and the statutes, that's the part that is bullshit. The ordinances, we're not talking about the whole thing. We're the Constitution can stay. The ordinances, the statutes, and the codes, that's the bullshit that we're against. Okay, I got it. I'm glad I had this conversation because I think a lot of people would like to know this. These are things I have to explain. We can, yeah. I didn't even think that I needed to explain that, but that is something I do need to talk about.
Well, yeah, I think because sometimes like people they may not be consistent watchers of yours, so like they'll pop in and they'll be like, "Oh, what the heck?" Like because sometimes you do make very pointed arguments, and it's like that's so not nuanced, and that's so like all or nothing. And so like now that like you're like, oh well, there's different levels, and it's not like clearly you can't commit murder or fraud or whatever, like or robbery. Like you like now that like speaking to you, it's like okay, now I get you're not completely like
The part, okay, let me just explain this. The part that we want to eliminate is the legislature. So you can keep the courts so long as they're actually following the Constitution and they're following common law. But the statutes part, so you can get rid of the legislature altogether. Excuse me, get rid of Congress.
Really? I thought Congress was there was the checks and balance to make sure that thing not just anything gets passed, and I thought that was a point of Congress was to make like was one of the checks and balances of the um United States. No.
Like I said, I don't really have a problem with the federal government. My problem is more so with the states. So the states are the ones that are really passing all these laws that are making our lives a living hell. So the whole thing, you don't necessarily need the legislature because you can have, this is the way the English common law system worked. You didn't have a bunch of statutes. What you had was case law. And so the common law was what everybody followed. Like there had to be a real case where you would figure out how to resolve it, and then that would be the precedent that everybody followed down the road. Whereas with statutes, you're just creating these rules that don't necessarily make sense in real life. Like for example, speed limits. It's like you make some rigid, speed limit. That's not the way it would work on the common law. Like even I don't, it's too much to explain. I think I need to make a whole live stream about that. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that in the future. I need to do some reading. I need to get some books. I mean, I can answer it, but I don't think it's going to be as well put together as it should be. But yeah, anarchists don't all agree on everything. But the main thing we do agree is that those codes and statutes are bullshit.
Okay. I get it. I get that, you don't want I definitely can see you don't want even if we may think it's bizarre, you want to be able to do what you want to do with your body as long as you're not hurting nobody. And
so do you think that I shouldn't have the right to die? Like why should the government be able to veto what I do with my life?
I think that you should have the right to die if that's what you truly want. Most people don't want to die. Aren't we actually wired to stay alive? That's like our biology. That's why when people take their life, like people think it's a weak thing, but it's actually one of the strongest things you can do because we're wired to stay alive. Our reflexes. We want to breathe and stay alive. Like that's how we're humanly wired to do. So the fact that people can take their life is really, really means that they're really going through a lot. So it's like I don't think that if that's what you want to do, fine. But I also don't feel like we should just let people hang themselves because they're going through a couple things. A lot of people do
What do you
need
mean
help. A lot of
let?
people do need.
Like you're saying let, like it's for somebody else to give them permission. Like you don't let anybody do anything.
if we listen to like, okay, so if I say I'm gonna kill myself today, I'm just supposed to. They're just
No,
supposed to say,
no, no,
okay,
no. Your
like, come
family
on.
members, the people who care about you, they can intervene because they know you and they, they're going to help you to get through your situation. I'm talking about the government.
Well, I mean, even if that, like the family members, they might be out to get you. So it's like, well, there's, I don't like you. I don't know. I just feel like, especially when you're in public space, there's mandated reporting because there's so much going on, mental health, a lot's going on in the world. So
But
it's like,
they're the ones who caused that in the first place because don't give us the right to physician assistance. So you have people jumping off of buildings and shit because that's their only option. They shouldn't have to do that. They should be able to go to a medical facility and do it in a humane manner, and they don't have that option.
okay, I get that. Like, yeah, but then that's I just don't know, but like, remember, that's it's not mercy killing. Like, we don't do
You
that.
do it for animals.
Well, we're not
But well,
animals
no, but
though.
why
Come
should
on
we
now.
have any less rights
Come
than
on.
the animal? If a dog was suffering, you would put the dog out of his misery.
But you see, the thing is, we can't pick and choose. Either we're equal to animals or we're
No, I
not.
think that we're less than animals. I think that animals have the one right that I don't have.
Well, but see, you can't say that and then be like, "Oh, the vegans are putting, oh, the white
No, no,
vegans
no,
are
no,
putting
no. But
human
that's my
life
problem
over."
because
Which one
they
is it?
have more empathy for animals. So if an animal was suffering, they would put it out of its misery, but they would tell me to suck it up.
So, do you
I do
disagree?
disagree.
You just said, but you just said that animals have more rights than us.
Well, I know
That's why
they
I
have
always
the
have to
right
say
that
you
I
got to be
want. And
consistent.
that's the reason why I can't support veganism because I don't feel that animals are as oppressed as I am because that is the most crucial right that I wish I had. I mean, yeah,
Well,
they're in a much
so
better position.
you would trade places with a dog any day.
Well, we're not talking about dogs. We're talking about farm animals. These animals live maybe 2 years and then they're put out of their misery. Whereas we have to live for 90 plus years or so. I mean, yeah, I mean it's not ideal. Of course, you don't want the animal to suffer at all, but 2 years compared to how long we have to live.
You really are a kid. I mean, I guess you're right. We do put out. We do. I wonder why we do that. Like, we don't do that. Well, we do that for humans. Like, if you're on your deathbed, or if you're you know, about to die, like they will pull the plug
They'll,
on you. But you have to be like a vegetable,
they will
damn
pull the
near.
plug. You have the right to refuse medical assistance, but if you are alive, they're not going to pull a. I mean, they can't terminate your life. Even
Really,
no,
I thought you could. They could, if you're like really, really sick or like in a coma for 10 years or something. They can, with
no,
permission, to pull
they
the
can
plug,
pull the.
right?
They can. Okay, the law is that they can. So if let's say you're on an defibrillator, right? You can't breathe
So,
on your own. They can pull a plug on
right.
that, but if you're alive and you're just in pain, no, they can't do anything. The only thing they can do is give you pain medication.
Yeah, because isn't their oath as a doctor to like make sure that that they do everything in their power to make sure you stay alive? Like, don't they take
Well, the
that
oath
oath?
is do no harm, but they are harming you by forcing you to suffer.
Oh well, girl. Well, suffer is
It's not
subjective
no,
and it's
no. In that
relative.
situation, you're in excruciating, agonizing pain, and they know it, and they're not going to do anything to help you.
Yeah, but that's like, where's the cutoff? Because okay, I cut my hand. That means inject me with a
No, we're
leafidizer and
talking
put me out of
about
my
people who
misery.
have brain tumors. We're talking about people whose eyeballs are just
So that's why I'm asking, like, where is that cutoff? Where does this your ideology start and end?
well, I think everybody should have the right to die, even if you don't, even if you're not terminally ill. That's my cutoff. Anyone
Okay.
who's of an age of
Well, wouldn't we all die? shoot, we all want to die every day. Like, so that's the thing. It's like I just feel like that would open up such a
Then if you're
goddamn
not going to,
it'd be an
then if you're
epidemic.
not going to allow me that right, then you can't subject me to your laws because I don't have the option of opting out. So you're forcing me to be here and you're forcing me to obey your unjust laws. So the whole situation is just oppressive.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, no, I agree. You should, if that's what you want to do, you should. It's just what I'm trying to wrap my head around that one. It's just that outside of terminal illness, you wake it up and say, I don't want to be here no more, and you want someone to help facilitate that is crazy.
Why is it crazy? What if I just don't want to be pulled over by the police? What if I don't want to obey the laws? What if having everybody control my life is just making me miserable?
Girl, that's life.
But I don't want life.
Girl,
I should have the right to reject it. I didn't choose this shit.
Girl, that is life, girl.
That's
Welcome
hell.
to the
That's what it's
club,
not life,
girl.
it's hell.
I didn't like what my parents told me what to do either. What, I'm supposed to just let them string me up?
If you wanted to do that, then you should have had that right.
Okay. At least you're consistent. You said no matter what, if I don't want to be here, shit, let me go.
If they don't allow you to do that, then they're taking your. It's the same thing. They say that they're pro-life and that life is so precious. But whose life is it? If it's my life, I can do whatever I want. I mean, I don't know if you caught that live stream that I did. Where I define what slavery is. If you don't have the right to dispose of something, then it doesn't belong to you. If you have the right to if your watch belongs to you, you can dispose of it. If I don't know, you have a phone, you can throw it in the trash, right? It's yours. You can do whatever you want. You can't do what you want with your life because it's not yours.
All right. I mean, that's fair. That is very fair. Very different, but that's fair. I'll give that one to you. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetime, my lifetime.
Well, but nobody's even talking about it. So, I mean,
suicide is definitely a hot topic, but I think maybe they're just not talking about it from
they're
your
only talking
perspective.
about the right to die for those who are terminally ill, but nobody's saying, the law says, I don't think anybody laid it out the way that I did. I mean, maybe I can post a link and maybe you can go back and watch that live stream. I don't know if you already caught it, but basically I was just saying that we don't own our own lives. And I laid out the case law and I showed this was the lead up for this live stream where I showed the law which says that if you try to do, first of all, they criminalize physician assistants. So that's an actual crime that you can't assist someone in terminating their own lives. And then under the health and safety code, they basically criminalize you doing it yourself, except they don't call it an arrest. They call it an apprehension. And then they put you in handcuffs and put you in jail or a medical or psychiatric facility like they did to this guy in the video I reviewed. So anyway, yeah, I already explained all this. I'm just laying it out because when I say it, people think that I'm making this up. Like somebody even told me that the government is not forcing you to stay alive. Yes, the hell they are. They are actually forcing you to stay alive. They're forcing you to do it against your consent. So I don't think there's anything more oppressive than that. All right, sounds like you're sleeping. I need to get off here anyway. Yeah, I was on here way too long, so I'm going to get off here. Y'all have a good night.